summer. We're told they're looking to bring that interest forward to this window.
talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Crook there. He's also told us West Ham have rejected an initial approach for Lucas Paquetá, and Leeds' rejected bid for Wolves striker Jørgen Strand Larsen was worth around £30 million with add-ons. For all the latest from the transfer market, head to the live blog at talksport.com. Now, ahead of Newcastle's nightmare run of games, starting with Villa's visit to St James's Park, Eddie Howe's hoping Bruno Guimaraes' ankle problem is not that serious.
The extent of the injury is still unknown. But he was reasonably positive after the game. Speaking to him, he's the guy that will never rule anything out, so we're going to give him every chance for this weekend. Let's wait and see.
Meanwhile, Mo Salah is set to start his first Premier League game in 6 weeks when Liverpool face Bournemouth tomorrow. England fullback George Furbank has been named in their Six Nations squad despite a horror run of injuries. Uncapped ex-Tobacco Greg Fisilau and young props Manny Egan and Billy Seller are also in. Meanwhile, Mark Saracens director Mark McCall will leave the club at the end of the season. That's after 15 years. And Cam Norrie is out of the Australian Open tennis, ending British involvement in the singles. Top seed Carlos Alcaraz went through in straight sets. Get more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Downing Street says Donald Trump was wrong to diminish the role of British troops in Afghanistan, and a husband accused of drugging and raping his wife over a 13-year period has appeared in court. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Rain or shine, our mobile tyre fitting service comes to you, so you can stay on the sofa this winter. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Cloudy with rain for many of us. A few clearer spells in the southwest before heavy wind and rain arrives later on. Windy for many of us.
Say there that maybe Andy has become jaded from that music because he didn't join in the dancing for quite a while. Old geezers chair dancing to 70s soul music. That's what people want.
Yeah, there's another version of this. Did you know that? There's another. We played it once. People got really shocked.
Yeah, don't want that.
No.
People like what they've got, Andy. Let's be honest.
I think they do.
I'm sorry that it's not Paul Hawksbee. Once again, the great man has fallen foul of whatever bugs the winter is bringing to your location. And I, Danny Kelly, have been asked to step up. So it's me, Danny Kelly, and Andy Jacobs, the usual name above the door, because I know how important these Friday shows are to people, because it's when they round everything up and they've got many, many sitting pieces of formula. That's not the wrong word, that you'll want to hear. So, of course, we'll have clips of the week, a special one about the boys late at night here on talkSPORT. What more can I tell you? We'll have the Fools panel. Stan Collymore, my old Oppo on kickoff, will be joining us a bit later to talk about the games at the weekend. Steve Harmison will come on to talk about yet another triumph for England's cricket team away from these shores. And the thing I'm most looking forward to, I'm sorry it's not sport, everyone, the wonderful David Baddiel will be joining us to talk about his new series on the TV about cats and their place in our lives, our culture and our history. Given my recently acquired, recent years, love of the felines, I can't wait. I've seen the programme, it's absolutely brilliant.
It's very good, yeah.
I've got a major criticism of it, though. I'll talk to David about that. I won't spoil it for you.
Okay.
All of that is coming up over the next 3 hours. I mean, I could say, why would you go anywhere else? But it's obvious, isn't it? You're not going to. With the stuff like that coming down the pipeline. And Andy Jacobs at the controls. Welcome one, welcome all.
Controls.
talkSPORT and Kelly and Jacobs. Well, I was using the phrase at the control there, Andy, the way that Jamaican musicians used to use it in the 1970s and 80s, where you would shout out the producer, Lee Perry at the controls. But I'm not actually in the studio with you.
No.
I'm 350 miles away, so I require you to be in control of the show.
Oh, well,
in some ways.
I am. And, can I start with Gianni Infantino and his terrible comments?
Infantile, yeah.
Oh, honestly, this man... I was saying to you before the show, if there was a list of the top 10 worst people in the universe, he'd be right up there. No, he'd definitely be in there.
I think he'd be there twice. Also, he parades around the world, and he's always turning up at these economic summits and all the rest of it. As though FIFA is a world superpower. Mate, you're in charge of putting on football matches for people.
He makes the mistake of thinking that he and FIFA are the reason why football is popular. He did that in the opening ceremony. He does it all the time. He did it in the draw. He just does that. He just thinks he is football. He's just a custodian, and a very poor one, in my view.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. He's a kind of bank manager for the world game, and to see him there, and if he can find a dictator, elected or otherwise, to suck up to, there's no authoritarian that he doesn't find a delicious taste on the end of his tongue, is there?
And as Jonathan Liu said, he won't make any jokes about Saudi Arabia or any of his paymasters or anything like that.
No, it's Britain. It was Britain who got
He's
the end of it.
fantastic, isn't he?
And on the same day that the United States president was deriding the deaths of British troops in the aid of America in one of their previous incursions into the world, I thought it was all a bit much. I mean, this is a very serious start to the show, because later on we're going to talk about cats, everyone.
We talked about Forest last night. That was a poor performance by them.
Well,
Watch
when we get Stan Collymore on, I think we'll prod him with a poke him with a pointed stick about this, Andy.
Performance, wasn't it? Where that minute, that turnaround where you miss a penalty and then you give away the stupidest goal you could possibly
Well, first of all, let's congratulate Morgan Gibbs White for not trying to Panenka it. At least he had a go at scoring. So
he
put
didn't
that in
really
a good...
hit it, though, did he?
He didn't lace it, no, but it was a good save by the goalkeeper. And, of course, they went down the upper end. But the problem for Forest now, and it seems to me, and we'll talk to Stan about this, is that they've not... It's evident that they've got a better squad than most of the teams in the... I'll go through it. All the teams in the bottom half of the Premier League. And yet... They're not yet putting enough, I was going to say clear blue water, clear red water between themselves and the promotion candidates. And so now they've settled themselves as a result of this game, in all probability, with 2 extra games in February. Stan will tell us what's happening there. They've got good players and a good manager, so why it's not quite coming together, I don't know.
I'm not a Forest fan, but I reckon they would have been annoyed about Aina being taken off. Aina, whatever you want.
Yeah,
he was their best player. I don't know why he took him off. It was a really strange decision.
These things are preordained.
They lost his long throw. They lost a lot when he went.
His energy as well.
Yeah, I thought it was very strange. Maybe you're right. Maybe he's got injury problems and he can only play a certain amount of time. You don't know.
And also, you look at the subs bench. You thought, they've left out, and you think about the 3 best players they've left out. They all came on together. So obviously the plan was to beef things up if they didn't go very, very well. Can I ask you, because and please, we will get back to the football. Where do you stand on Brer cats?
What cats?
Have you? And you love them?
I like cats, yeah, but I haven't got one. I mean, we had one when the kids were younger, and my son's got one. But I'm
only asking because the point of David Baddiel's programme, we will get back to the sport, everyone, is that in where you live in Britain, exactly the same here in Ireland, cats are slightly, they're not as beloved and not as endlessly in the media, and they don't make Lassie's a film about a dog. You don't make a film about...
This is the point David makes, isn't it? About dogs are more sort of TV
more
friendly.
beloved, and I just wondered because we've now got both. I never had any pets at all. I'll explain this to David again later. Till I moved here, and then you need them for rats and mice and all that. And here I am, a man in his 60s, suddenly absolutely besotted with little furry creatures. They run my life, Andy. I'm not being funny about that. See that picture behind me that I painted of one of our cats. Look at that. Wow. I know you know your way around an easel. But look at that one. There's a picture of Kiki. Not bad, is it?
Not bad at all.
No, not bad.
Now, changing the subject slightly, I was watching...
Says the producer.
Well, no, me. Yes, possibly.
Go on.
Yes. I was watching Officials Mic'd Up, that marvellous show with Howard Webb and Michael Owen.
Why are you watching that?
Well, I just caught it. It was on, and I thought,
all right, okay.
And they were talking about denial of goal scoring opportunity, and it's quite fascinating to listen to it. They're all going, "That's Dogso, that's Dogso, that's Dogso." And I was thinking, if they get it wrong, do they get Dogso abuse? I mean, it's ridiculous. Honestly, it's so chaotic and frantic, isn't it? The VAR, it's manic when you hear it. You know, I suppose it's the atmosphere and everything going on, but
and the pressure that people like you and me are putting on them, not to get it right, but to actually give up their day jobs, pack it in, and get rid of it completely and utterly, because it has failed, and no amount of tinkering around the edges has made it any good. And you know, I won't say it's an unforeseen consequence, because Adrian Durham told me exactly what was going to happen, and I poo-pooed him, and I said, Adrian, leave it to the professionals. He was exactly right. I was exactly wrong. He said it would take away from the in-stadium and television experience for the fans. And he was 100%, for the first time in his career, Adrian, he was spot on about something. And I no, very rarely. And it was I hadn't thought it through. I thought we'd just get better decisions and move on with the game 20 seconds later.
No, it's been a disaster, and it's interesting because this morning we've heard the FA Cup. The FA had decided to give the FA Cup its own Champions League style theme tune that will be played as the. Honestly, is that the best they've got? Whereas what they could do is just go, we're not having VAR in our competition. Immediately would lift the FA Cup beyond every other competition. Instead of which they haven't got the guts to do that. They introduce it in the fifth round, a pathetic, mealy way that they've done it. And then they come up with this, which nobody be impressed with.
They're doubly to blame here. They're doubly culpable, Andy, because they are the very competition that has the evidence to hand from its early rounds through to the fifth round that the game is better without the VAR, and what they're doing now is putting their hands over their eyes and saying, what evidence? You've got no evidence it's better. You have it in your own competition, you fools.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the reaction from people. The reaction was, you know, I mean, FA Cup football is different from league football, but even so, it was so much more enjoyable. That third round weekend, I think I enjoyed the most out of the whole season so far because of that. I think a lot of people felt the same.
Yeah, it's look, apart from everything else, and we know what the everything else is, we all know what I'm going to say next, that moment of unalloyed, unquestioned joy when your team scores is now being denied to you. And the thing about that is, I thought about this a lot because I partially blame myself for the introduction of VAR. Is that where else in life, maybe the birth of a golden child, or so, can you have a moment where the joy is unquestioned and it is yours and it cannot be? And now they've robbed us of that, from the thing that made football so ultra special. They've robbed us of it.
Talking of golden children.
Yeah.
Make it your favourite subject at the moment. The Beckhams, not the Breckhams. I don't know who they are. Actually, I'd rather talk about the Breckhams. It's incredible, though, isn't it? Brooklyn and his wife, they put out this massive statement about how all they want is a quiet life and everything. And the next day they get this pictured walking along Malibu, like they didn't tell the Paps they'd be there or anything like that. It's pitiful, isn't it? The whole saga, really. It's
interesting because, you know, you with the internet, we all should, in theory, be getting the same news. But, of course, you don't. It's filtered through any number of mediations. And so I don't live in Britain anymore, so I was bewildered to see that the front page of the newspapers, day after day after day, was Brooklyn Beckham.
Not the same in Ireland, no?
No, not the same in Ireland. But, well, I'll say I was reading a very good front page story the other day in a local paper about just how the sheep trials are attracting huge numbers this year.
Oh,
Tickets
good.
are sold out way in advance, and I'm not joking. That was the front cover story of the local paper.
Well, you know, it's rural.
Yeah, I get it. I know the red tops. You sit in a building where they get made. The red tops worked out they needed to sell celebrity rather than news, so they had to create celebrities. So now the children of rich people are celebrities just because they're going to inherit a load of money. Would it be cruel of me to say I don't care about Brooklyn Beckham?
No.
Or the internal squabblings of the Beckham family?
No, it wouldn't be cruel.
I've just checked with myself. Just check my pulse again. No, I don't seem to care about them at all, Andy. However, I do care about the cricket. And next up, Steve Harmison, double Ashes winner, the man who has to suffer for talkSPORT by watching all of England's games overseas. It's going to come on talks about the first of the ODIs. The defeat in Sri Lanka was pretty much standard for England, but these things are important now because the World Cup is around the corner.
You can't go on like this in England.
We've got to get this thing sorted out.
Well, let's sort it out. This coach will not do. He really won't.
We'll let you and I tell Steve that, and Steve then can pass it on to him.
Good.
That's how we're going to work, Andy. You're listening to Danny Kelly and Andy Jacobs, I'm delighted to say, here on talkSPORT. We'll be here till 4 o'clock. We've got all the usual things, clips of the week, Fools panel, etc., as well as some fantastic guests. Next up, one of those, Steve Harmison.
Lanka winning the toss, and they're going to have a bat.
Overton in once again, slightly short, and Mashara has climbed into this one. 141 Ks that, and he's just put it over square leg for 6.
72 metres, about standard these days. I like it when it starts going on 100, 110 metres.
The slow one, and this should be taken, it's taken! That is a very good catch.
The 54 for 1. As you could call that 54 for 2. Adil Rashid again, as Bethel might have picked up a wicket here. No, just drops. Suddenly seemed to be caught between making a decision to field or take the catch, and in the end, he did neither.
Well, he valued his teeth.
Well, Alagay strikes it high. Has it cleared the boundary? It has. And 271 for 6. They'll be very happy, and they'll take it.
In he goes once again, excellent caught behind. Crawley goes for 6. Another one wide out of off stump.
Madhushan from round the wicket. Let's see what Butler does. Slow ball, and he struck gold.
The fields light up, the stumps light up, and unfortunately for England, I'm afraid, I think it's lights out.
And Sri Lanka have sealed victory at the Premadasa by 19 runs.
Is there actually a cricket-playing country in the universe that England could beat at the moment? I don't think there is.
Well, we'll soon find out. That's how it sounded yesterday as they slipped to a 19-run defeat to Sri Lanka there. Meanwhile, you're listening to Kelly and Jacobs on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Toolstation. And I'll be telling you in a few minutes' time how you can hear the rest of that series over on talkSPORT 2, every ball live here on your home of live sport. Somebody who was watching that, working on it, both on television and the radio, and might be able to explain several things that went on there, is the great Steve Harmison, who joins us now. Hello, Steve.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Thank you for joining us.
Mac has just sent me a picture of you, Harmy, in a nice sarong. You look fabulous.
It was. Go on.
And I liked your Sri Lankan shirt you were wearing, not a team shirt, but a very colourful chemise that you were sporting yesterday as well on the telly.
Yeah, I mean, it was right up your street, that, Danny. I must admit, when I put that on, I thought, that would suit you down to the ground. But no, it was a very nice touch. When in Sri Lanka, you get into the sort of the Sri Lankan lifestyle, and it was very comfortable. It was very airy in pockets, which was needed airy when you weren't in the air-conditioned commentary box, I must admit. So, no, it was a nice touch. It was a nice start to the day. Unfortunately, England lost the toss when that photo was taken, that Macca sent. And I wouldn't say it went downhill from there, but when you lose the toss out here, boy, you've got to play so well, and unfortunately, England just weren't up to the task.
All right, Steve, let me ask you, let me go straight to the nub of this. I mean, quite apart from the question of why they're playing one-day internationals when the T20 World Cup is a fortnight away, that's a separate issue. 13 internationals, one-day internationals now away from home without a win. Something is going wrong. Can you put your finger on the thing or things that is going wrong?
To the first question, why they're playing the 3 T20s, these 3 T20s are off the back of the series that got postponed in COVID when England left that tour. So that's why the T20s were added on to the 50 overs were added onto the T20. And to the hard question, why they're playing so badly in 50 over cricket, I think the balance of the sides all wrong. I'm not going to go as far as to say as it's going back to the time when we played in 2015 when Owen Morgan had to take over and we played a lot of our test team was the same as our 50 over team. But that top five out of the top 6 in both, exactly the same, which other than Root and Bethel being swapped around, have just been beaten up by Australia. So there's a little bit of a confidence crisis in that. I think the balance of the team yesterday with 5 spinners, 2 seam options who aren't your sort of in 50 over cricket banking 10 overs, and not a really confident power player bowler at the top in Jamie Overton, and then the death bowling with Jamie Overton having to bowl the last over, which he's not accustomed to. I felt sorry for Jamie yesterday because I thought he bowled really well and he batted brilliantly at the end. But that one over possibly cost England the game, and it's not something that Jamie Overton is used to, bowling at the death. I think England, what they've done is, like in Australia, they've packed their batting and gone for batting depth and sacrificed that the one bowler that we haven't got that potentially goes for 5, 10, 15 runs more, we can make up with the bat. And unfortunately, England couldn't at the end of that game.
Well, another thing I don't understand is Why isn't Phil Salt opening the innings instead of Duck Crawley? Well, how long are they going to... His batting average is the same as Adil Rashid. I'm sure he's a very lovely man. I'm sure he's a very great player. But how long are they going to persevere with this guy before they realise he just hasn't got it? He hasn't.
I must admit, Andy, I was very surprised. I did see that stat, and I didn't want to bring it up myself because I didn't want to sort of kick Zach Crawley again, because he's took some stick over the last couple of years. Is he good enough to play international cricket? His record is showing that, averaging 30. I think Ricky Ponting once said if anybody averaged under 35 in Australian cricket, their parents told them to take up basketball or football. In this England team, if you get to 35, you might be doing all right. So, yeah, I mean, the problem you've got now is Zach's played 8 games in 50-over cricket. You've took him to New Zealand pre-Ashes for preparation and didn't play him in the 3. And you've now picked him in this first one. You basically have to give him the 3 games and you have to give him the run of the side. But the only way I see you getting a death bowler into this side is by, when Will Jacks is obviously better for Saturday, is he comes back into the team and opens a batting. And then you leave one of your spin bowlers out and you play your left-arm seam option, Luke Wood, who can bowl at the death for you. But then you're dropping Zach Crawley after 1 game, and I don't think that's fair. So he might not be up to the task, but you've given him the chance, and he should be given that chance. So the balance of this side is all wrong, and I just worry that we're going back to 2015 days before Owen Morgan grabbed that side, and that, I think, maybe after the World Cup, T20 World Cup, it's something that England need to look at in going forward, because the next 50-over World Cup, England aren't assured of qualifying yet. The last thing this team wants, I mean, this is still a possibility, that England are 8th in the world rankings at this moment in time. You have to be in the top 9 to qualify for the World Cup. If you're not, you have to go in July to somewhere like Zimbabwe and qualify with the emerging nations. 1, that would be embarrassing. 2, that would be in the middle of our flagship or around about our flagship 100 competition, and when we've got test matches on in England, and that would be catastrophic for England. So they need to get the finger out in 50-over competition to qualify for the World Cup.
It'd be better if they didn't go. It would be, honestly. I'm sick of it. Aren't you sick of watching this team lose? I'm so sick of it. I can't stand it any longer. I mean, what are they going to do about it?
Steve's getting paid to watch them lose, Andy. It's a whole different thing. Steve, let me ask you a wider question. We saw the hoopla surrounding the 100 yesterday with new teams, new badges, elephants representing the northwest of England, all that stuff. Has the 50-over game, a bit like the first-class game, has that been neglected in England in concentrating on the 2 tournaments which I admit fill the grounds? Have we now neglected the one-day internationals?
Yeah, I think the world's neglected 50-over competition. Let's be fair. I think the world has. It's not just in England. Our county cricket needs addressing. It's not a problem. But it needs, I think, helping. And we've just given it 500 million. We've just given counties 500 million off the 100, which is important to us from a financial point of view. So I think the county cricket, with all that money injection, needs an adult in the room to try and get the schedule better, and I think that would be a start. And I think, and I've seen some of these adverts. I must admit, I've seen a TV advert for the Manchester one with a lot of failed actors, a lot of Emmerdale Farm and Coronation Street and all that stuff on. And I'm going, if you want to promote Manchester and get people to watch cricket, I know it is about getting different eyes to watch the game of cricket. But at the end of the day, it's still cricket lovers that go to the 100. They might bring their mate and might bring their kids. But why is Andrew Flintoff not promoting Manchester on TV to get people to go to Manchester? Because he is probably one of the biggest showbiz figures from that part of the world to sort of showcase what it is to come and watch Manchester, Old Trafford, this great ground, and watch Joss Butler and people like that play for the new Manchester team. I watched that advert for the TV and going, what on earth are these people doing promoting cricket?
Is Ruben Amorim in that by any chance?
I mean, well, he probably was. I mean, he probably was. It was all failed actors and people like that.
Steve, these are highly successful businessmen who start to invest and take over from India, United States, take over these teams in the hundreds. The Yorkshire team, Yorkshire, of course, the most significant county, Surrey, in English cricket history. they're now called Leeds. I'm not sure the people in Sheffield and Doncaster and other places are. I'm not sure they're going to like that. I've got to be absolutely honest with you. Listen, thanks very much, Steve. You can.
To be fair, Danny, just quickly. The Leeds bit they might get away with, but the tangerine colour, I'm not sure people.
Maybe not. Maybe not in that part of the world. Listen, you'll be able to hear more and see more of Steve, because you mustn't forget you'll be able to hear live and exclusive ball-by-ball commentary of the second One Day International between Sri Lanka and England on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel from 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. And here's the rub, Andy. I'll get up and make my cup of tea and watch it.
Of course.
Glutton for punishment, I think is the phrase I'm looking for here. You're listening to, to Kelly and Jacobs. Jacobs and Kelly, I think, to give it seniority here on talkSPORT. Why? It doesn't matter the order of the names. It's all great, isn't it? Thank you for listening.
We're told Spurs are working on a deal to sign Liverpool's Andy Robertson. Arne Slot wasn't asked about that today, but he is more confident about Milos Kerkez following his Champions League performance.
Milos is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, in my opinion. He plays better and better and better, so it was a moment to give him that game during the week as well, and he did really well, in my opinion, in Marseille.
Meanwhile, Mo Salah is expected to play at Bournemouth tomorrow. Newcastle hope Bruno Guimaraes will be fit to face Villa on Sunday. Eddie Howe was cagey on the extent of his ankle injury. We understand West Ham have rejected a formal bid for Lucas Paquetá from Flamengo in Brazil. West Ham versus Sunderland is live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. A Leeds bid for Jorgen Strand-Larsen has been rejected by Wolves. All the latest, of course, is on talkSPORT.com. Unai Emery's brushed off his push on Yuri Tielemans, saying, "He's my son." Former Villa keeper Mark Bosnich has played down their touchline spat.
Sometimes when you're close to people, you tend to let your emotions go a little bit further than you normally would because you know them so well. But long term, the time you've got to worry as a player, and Razor will tell you, is when the manager ignores you completely. You can tell how much he cared about the player.
Villa are through to the Europa League knockouts with a game to spare. Meanwhile, England have named their Six Nations squad, and despite a horror run of injuries, fullback George Furbank is in. Uncapped Exeter back rower Greg Fisselau and young props Manny Yogan and Billy Seller are also in. Meanwhile, Saracens director Mark McCall will leave the club at the end of the season after 15 years. And Cam Norrie is out of the Australian Open tennis, ending British involvement in the singles.
Transfer window. Breaking news on talkSPORT with Intuit QuickBooks. Tackle your self-assessment with Intuit QuickBooks. Search QuickBooks to find out more.
Yeah, in about 15 minutes we'll be talking to the England fan that's got tickets for the upcoming World Cup final for less than the price of a couple of pizzas arriving at your front door. It's a great story. We'll talk to him.
I hope he doesn't get arrested.
It's also got a great name. It's got a. Oh, well, I hope he doesn't get arrested. I don't want to see any Brits arrested, to use that word. Yeah, you're listening now though to all the latest transfer gossip and tittle tattle. Thanks to Inuit QuickBooks, and it's time to join Ben Jacobs. Hi, Ben.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us. So, the transfer window never ceases to make me laugh. All the in-the-knows reporting Liverpool are in for Mickey van der Ven. Spurs want Curtis Jones. Well, they are talking to each other, but they're talking to each other about someone completely different.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey van der Ven's not going to go anywhere mid-season, barring a British transfer record offer and a massive U-turn in terms of Tottenham's position. But of course,
Ben, I wouldn't sell Mickey van der Ven if they sold the whole city of Liverpool. They wouldn't have enough funds to buy van der Ven. That's a fact.
But in the summer, he's heading towards the last 2 years of his contract. So let's wait and see where the Spurs project is. But in the summer, Tottenham were considering Andy Robertson on a free transfer. And they've decided to try and move that business forwards because of an injury, an ankle fracture to Ben Davies. And this is really interesting because Tottenham, in theory, have got Destiny Udogie, Jed Spence can switch sides, and Sousa, the young Brazilian, has just come in.
22 hours ago.
Yeah, you can't rely on him.
It may be there's an acclimatisation period. He's young, and then obviously after the summer, let's see whether he stays at the football club or goes out on loan. But I do think Sousa feels like he can be part of Thomas Frank's squad. And yeah, Andy Robertson is potentially going to come in. Now, Liverpool sources are really clear here that the talks to date are preliminary and they have been granted so Robertson can explore his future because he's going to leave as a free agent anyway in the summer out of mutual respect. So Robertson is going to make sure he does the right thing for himself and by Liverpool, and vice versa. Liverpool are not going to unduly block a Robertson exit if he can agree something with Tottenham Hotspur that he may have already had somewhat in place for the summer anyway. And then we have to wait and see what Liverpool do, because even though they've got Milos Kirkos at left back, are they going to go in the market and bring in another defender? Or is it going to be the case that Robertson says no, he'll see out the season with Liverpool out of respect for the club and he'll go in the summer? But the long and short of it is Tottenham are trying.
Kirkos is the big question though is, can Thomas Frank be part of Thomas Frank's squad? That's what
I mean, another valid question.
I was going to say, is Andy Robertson going to wait till the summer out of respect for Liverpool or out of fear of joining Spurs as they currently are? Who knows? And a player definitely, well, it looks like it really is looking like it's happening now, but you can tell us for sure, Ben. Returning to an old stamping ground. People forget that Tammy Abrahams was the absolute fulcrum of the Villa side that got promoted all those years ago. But after travelling around a little bit, and of course he's been crushed by injuries at various times. Looks like he's going back to Villa Park.
Yeah, so Aston Villa have got an agreement in place with Besiktas that I'll explain in a moment to sign Tammy Abraham, their top choice, even though they inquired for Jean-Philippe Mateta as well. And as you said, it'd be a return for Tammy Abraham. He was at Aston Villa 2018-2019 under Dean Smith on a loan where he was scoring goals for fun, and Aston Villa ended up getting promoted from the Championship to the Premier League. So this is one that should go down relatively well with the Villa fan base, even though they've gone for a slightly older option. And it gives Villa another possibility, both in terms of competition and also to alleviate the burden on Ollie Watkins. Now, this was a really complicated deal because Tammy Abraham went to Besiktas in Turkey from Roma on a loan with a conditional obligation. And Besiktas argue, perhaps rightly, legally, that they have met the conditions for the obligation. So even though usually you would pay that money at the end of the season, but you would know the transfer was happening, Besiktas have always considered since the turn of the year Tammy Abraham their player, not a Roma one. So Villa were exploring all kinds of different options, such as, can we terminate the loan, or do we have to pay Besiktas a fee? And it was complicated, and they made multiple trips to Turkey. And it looks like now what will happen is Besiktas will give Roma the 11 million obligation to buy, and then Villa will give Besiktas somewhere in the region of 18 million pounds plus add-ons. And there's even talk that a player may be part of this deal as well. But Tammy Abraham is expected to fly and complete his formalities within the next 24 to 48 hours, with a likelihood that this deal is formalised and announced either late weekend or early next week.
A lot of stuff on social media doesn't really mean anything about Douglas Luiz and Chelsea. I just can't see why that makes any sense. This is a player that's really struggled since he left Villa. Villa didn't want him anymore. Juventus don't want him. Now it looks like Forest don't want him. What on earth would Chelsea want this player for? I don't get it.
Yeah, they looked at him, though, remember, in previous windows too. And it goes a bit against the Chelsea model, at least how it's perceived sometimes in the media, that it always has to be players under the age of 25. And Chelsea's perspective is essentially, he's not playing at Nottingham Forest. He's open to the move. Juventus might be prepared to do a straight loan or a loan with a buy option. So Chelsea see Luiz as somebody that can just come in between now and the end of the season. And in that context, it's a bit different to their other forward planning or younger profiles. And Chelsea would argue he's a squad fit, he's a long-standing target, but also Dario Asugo has had injury problems. Romy Alavia is out as well. Yes, Chelsea still in theory have lots of midfielders, including Reece James, who can play there, and Andre Santos, who's liked by the manager Liam Rosenior. But they want one more, and I think that's in light of the fact that Asugo's just coming back. And as I say, Romy Alavia is still out, and they're being very protective of him. So this is just Chelsea adding depth as they continue to challenge on four fronts.
And Ben, you wear a number of very attractive hats for talkSPORT, including being our sort of Saudi Arabian news czar. The noises on the drums are that they're going to have another huge go at emptying out the Premier League in the summer.
Yeah, Premier League and Europe, I'm expecting Saudi to be really aggressive. Slightly different profile. So phase one was 2023, and it was over 30s and really star names, and some would say gimmicky signings, but still obviously some very good players. Your N'Golo Kante's, Karim Benzema's and Cristiano Ronaldo, not in that summer, but before catalysing it all. Now Saudi are looking for players over the age of 21, but under the age of 30. So broadly, we can say that's peak age. And there's a few names on the list. Of course, there's older stars too, but they're the exception to the rule, the likes of Mo Salah and Robert Lewandowski. Vinny Jr. is a really interesting one. And now Xabi Alonso's left. Maybe Vinny Jr. restarts contract talks at Real Madrid and could end up staying. But he's got the leverage of a Saudi offer, 5 years and €1 billion.
He's never going to play second fiddle to Mbappe. That was never going to happen. It was a problem of Real Madrid's own making, Ben, and he's not going to stay there and be second fiddle to Mbappe. That's not the way his group of his advisors are set up. They just don't want that. We shall see. Any other names you've got for the summer for Saudi perhaps incursions?
Yeah, so obviously Salah is the big one to watch, like I said before. And let's see whether Liverpool change their perspective that he can see out his contract. Amadou Onana, Yuri Tielemans are both on the list. Gabriel Martinelli could be another one to watch as well. Saudi and Al Nassr in particular tried for Martinelli over the summer and would have been prepared to pay Arsenal 85 million euros, but the player wasn't interested. And that's the thing to get your head around, that there's a lot of no's to Saudi 2026 or season 25-26, because obviously it's a World Cup year.
Yeah.
But after the World Cup year, it's going to all open up to the Saudi market. And the reason why we revealed on talkSPORT 50 foreign names expected is because a lot of the names that joined in 2023 are right at the end of their contract. Saudi don't mind if they leave on free transfers because they were older players, but that creates squad space. And I think virtually every big Saudi club is going to add a minimum of 4 new foreign signings in summer 2026 after the World Cup. Premier League, European names as well. And as I say, there will be your Lewandowskis and your Salahs, but the vast majority will be under the age of 30.
People still won't watch the league. It doesn't matter what they do. I don't even know why they bother,
the French
really.
and German leagues used to joke that they were financed by the Premier League, coming in with the big money. The Premier League will soon be financed by the Saudi Arabian money.
Well,
if those kind of transfer fees, sure. But if those transfer fees that they're talking about are to be believed, then who knows? Thank you very much to Ben Jacobs there. That was all the latest transfer updates. Of course, you can go onto talksport.com and see all the very latest news, but that was all the latest right now, thanks to Inuit QuickBooks. Yeah, remarkable studio guest for you now here on Kelly and Jacobs. A man who has followed England, the football team, more closely than any other, and he can prove it for the last 50 or so years. The reward for which is that he's got some very cheap tickets for the World Cup final. We'll get on to the importance of that and the story about the ticket prices very, very soon. But first, let's introduce him. I suppose England's superfan is how I'd describe him. And he goes by the wonderful name of Garford Beck. Hello, Garford.
Hello, Danny.
First of all, congratulations on having a name that sounds very like a small stream on Dartmoor.
Well,
I'm loving that for you.
I should say that Garford has come in, Danny.
Yeah,
Not only
yeah.
has he brought me a present for my wife, which is very sweet of him, but
That
he's
is very
also
nice of
brought
him.
Paul and I Senegal shirts, so I may walk out in the middle of the interview. Come back in 20 minutes' time.
Well, the audience say, no, don't leave us with Kelly. Garford, you can prove that you are England's most loyal fan.
Well, I mean, it's not a case whether I'm England's most loyal fan. I know of England fans that have been attending longer than I have. The term super fan is not something that really sits well with me, and I just think I'm fortunate that I've been able to do it.
You're passionate about it, aren't you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm very passionate about football in general, but as I say, it's I know England fans that are just as passionate as I am, but they're unable to attend because they might not be working or they're at a time of their lives when they're not able to do that. Probably just taking out a mortgage, got a young family. So, but I know a lot of what you might call England super fans. There are quite a few. They're a good crowd of us actually. But I go back all the way to February the 16th. 1972 for my first England game, which was under 23 fixture.
Show Danny that.
Who are they playing? Sorry,
Scotland.
It was, and it was back in the day when, although the match was down for a 7:30 kickoff because of the industrial action that was taking place at the energy crisis under Ted Heath's government, the game was moved to an afternoon kickoff. And of course, in them days, the under 23s were managed by, well, England, Sir Alf, and Scotland by Tommy Docherty. And this is quite a rare thing, really, because it's probably one of the few, if not the only England fan that was a newspaper programme that was a newspaper.
Look at that.
And I have great memories of that day because obviously it was my first time. I was very excited to see,
some good names in here, Danny. Malcolm McDonald, Alan Hudson, Mick Channon. Trevor Brooking was on the bench as a young boy in that age.
That's not... did you say Alan Hansen?
No, Alan Hudson.
Oh, Hudson. Hudson. What a wonderful player.
No, I know Alan Hudson.
I saw Alan Hudson destroy the Germans, the West Germans, in 1975 at that game at Wembley when they were world champions. And what a great player he was. The fact they only got 2 caps is...
it showed the attitudes to technically brilliant players in England at the time, I think it's fair to say. Garford, whatever about your modesty, about the amount of miles you've put in, the games you've seen, the upshot is that you have been awarded the cheapest possible tickets for the upcoming World Cup, and for every round, as I understand it. Is that right?
Yes, all the way to the final.
For a top capper, that means you're most prolific match attendees.
Yeah,
the England supporters. So this is really in the news. Though. You made the paper with this because we're hearing about how expensive the tickets are. You're lucky enough to get them at what people would consider a reasonable price. I mean, what do you make of this pricing, and what do you make of Infantino saying, "Well, we've sold all the tickets, so who cares?"
Well, I don't think that they have, to be honest with you. And of course, when the ticket prices were published, we didn't know we were going to be getting the $60 tickets. I think it was only because of the backlash that they suddenly found a very small number of tickets. I think as few as 400 for some games, possibly a bit higher for others. So there are a cohort of fans, as you say, top cappers. The top cap figure at the minute is 62. Yes, we've put all the hard yards in, but it's still... I've still got a lot of misgivings about this tournament. I've been teetering sometimes because by attending, I mean, even with the $60 tickets, it's still going to be a massively expensive tournament. There's still the problem of getting the time off work for such a...
It's going to be interesting. FIFA can't afford empty stadiums, so if they don't sell all the tickets, you know that there's going to be they're going to give them away, aren't they? In the end,
they will eventually. But it's not only a case of empty stadium but all those England fans who give us that atmosphere, like we saw in Germany last year or at previous tournaments. You know, all the 20-year-olds who like to have a good time. I mean, I'm 63. I mean, so I don't go dress. I mean, when you got a space hopper for a belly, you don't start wearing football shirts and things like that. Do you know what I mean? So I mean,
although you do wear Sherlock Holmes deerstalker and pipe. What was that about?
Well, I've been known to wear that and an RAF cap and a tricorn. Well, it's just to add a bit of fun and gaiety to the occasion, really.
Good. I only asked because I'm obsessed with Sherlock Holmes, and I thought, oh, look, there's another fan. Listen, before we run out of time, I want to play you something, Garth, and I want to get your reaction, not because you're a trained journalist or anything like that, but because you are somebody who follows England far and wide. This is the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, speaking yesterday at the World Economic Forum. What the hell he was doing there, nobody will tell me. He had this to say about England's fans.
All started rolling and the magic started, and it was a wonderful, wonderful World Cup. We had virtually no incidents. For the first time in history also, no Brit was arrested during a World Cup. Imagine, this is something really, really special. So it was a celebration, it was a party, and the next one in United States, Canada and Mexico will be exactly the same.
God, he's driven.
I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. I've seen terrible violence involving England football fans. I was caught up in it in places like Belgium and Portugal.
That's a long time ago.
But that was quarter of a century ago. What is he talking about?
Trouble in Turin in 1980,
of course.
Madrid in 84.
But, you know, it was a wonderful World Cup. He's right about that.
Qatar.
But it was nothing to do with him. It was because of the fact that it was in the middle of winter and the players weren't flogged like they're going to be in the summer.
That's right. And the fact that for us fans, there was little travelling.
Yeah,
it was like having
every stadium was within 40
in one city. Yeah. It was probably the best tournament. But look, I mean, you know, Infantino, FIFA, and the way they're toading up to President Trump is leaving a lot of supporters feeling quite uneasy about this year. I mean, presenting Donald Trump with his phony peace prize. I mean, you talk about Davos. I mean, when he announced the peace board, or board of peace, I think it's called, to give his. I needed to check the spelling of board. I didn't know whether it was B-O-R-E-D or B-O-R.
Well, I'm amazed Infantino's not on it. You know, it's extraordinary.
Well, I'm sure he will be.
Well, he's given his blessing apparently. But you know,
well, that's very good. Very good.
When he presented Trump with his peace prize, of course, he said football unites the world. Well, the reality is they can't even unite 48 teams at the World Cup, because no sooner had he presented him with his peace prize than he did what he did in Venezuela, and then he threatened Mexico, and now, of course, the big one.
And also, a lot of fans won't be invited, won't be welcome in America, and that's no.
That's right, and of course, they can't afford.
And Infantino shouldn't be allowing that. He should be saying to Trump, "You can't ban these fans just because of your immigration policy. This is the World Cup.
Well, exactly.
You know, people want to come and see their teams play in the World Cup.
But he's a toad in a lickspittle. You know, we all know this. Garth, I've got you there onto a very serious thing. I just want to say, well done with the recognition you're getting. And if you do decide to go, have a brilliant time at the World Cup. Garford Beck there, everybody.
Thanks, Tony.
Who doesn't like to be described as an England superfan. Let's just call him an England fan of great distinction, if you like, put it that way. And don't forget that the latest episode of How to Win the World Cup is live now on YouTube and on all your podcast platforms. Matt Ford and Alex Brooker are talking mentality with 1998 World Cup winner Emmanuel Petit. Head over to the talkSPORT YouTube channel to watch it in full, or download the talkSPORT app and listen now. Meanwhile, you're listening to Kelly and Jacobs on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Pick up on your weather essentials today. Next stop, Toolstation.
talkSPORT Sports Update powered by the Nissan Van range. Commercial vehicles built around your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van centre.
With the headlines at 2:03, I'm Tom Clayton. Good afternoon. Tammy Abraham could be heading back to Villa Park.
It gives Villa another possibility, both in terms of competition and also to alleviate the burden on Ollie Watkins.
talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs there, who says it's a complicated deal and involves 3 clubs in 3 different countries. Meanwhile, Liverpool could be saying goodbye to a stalwart this month. They've been approached by Spurs for Andy Robertson, but talkSPORT's Alex Crook says there's more work to be done before a move can be confirmed.
But obviously they've got to put the club's interest first, and you mentioned they are a little bit light in defensive areas already, so I would imagine they may look to source a replacement before they enable this deal to happen.
Oliver Glasner has rejected claims Jean-Philippe Mateta has put in a transfer request at Palace. He says the striker will be in the squad to face Chelsea on Sunday. Elsewhere in transfers, West Ham have turned down a £40 million bid for Lucas Paquetá. We understand Leeds' rejected bid for Wolves striker Jurgen Strand-Larsen was worth around £30 million plus add-ons. Get all the latest on the live blog at talksport.com. Now, Pep Guardiola's admitted things aren't all peachy at Man City.
We are struggling now. I know 100% what happened with the team. I know it. So try to give a little bit more time and give it.
He's also backed Rodri for a bounce back after his red card in Norway on Tuesday. England fullback George Furbank has been named in their Six Nations squad despite a horror run of injuries. Uncapped ex-to-back rower Greg Fisselau in young props Manny Eogan and Billy Seller are also in. And Williams will miss the first pre-season test before the F1 season. The team says their new car won't be ready in time. Get more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Downing Street says Donald Trump's wrong to diminish the sacrifice of British soldiers in Afghanistan. And which of the world's passports is the most powerful? Get more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Cloudy with rain for many of us, a few clearer spells in the southwest before heavy wind and rain arrives later. Windy for many of us.
Yeah, welcome back to the second hour of 3 of today's edition of Hawksbee and Jacobs. I'm Danny Kelly, sitting in for the great man Hawksbee. Get well soon, Paul. Andy Jacobs is here with me. We've got lots to get through in the next 2 hours, including the Fools panel. So if you want to take part and you want to take on the likes of Stan Collymore and Andy and prove that they know nothing about football, ring in now and we'll try and get you to be the guest on the Fools panel in 45 minutes. That number, as always, is 03717 223344. That's 03717 223344. Come on the Fools panel. We'll have some fun with that. My next guest, though, is possibly the most welcome guest in the history of radio. In the past few years, and it's only been the last few years, I've become obsessed with my pet cats. I didn't have any when I was young. Moved to the country, got to have them for mousers. Absolutely adored them. They run my life. So it was with the utmost delight that I sat down recently in front of the television on Channel 4 to watch David Baddiel's new show, David Baddiel Catman, in which he just talks about cats and goes and visits famous cats. Can't say how pleased we are to be joined by David now. I suppose we have to say he's comedian, presenter and Chelsea fan. Hello, David. How are you?
Hello, Danny. Nice to see you. Hello, Andy.
Hi, David.
Right. I'm just going to ask, I didn't know Paul was ill. Is he all right?
Yes, he's fine. Yeah, he's a little bit chest.
I heard you were coming on and bailed.
Yeah.
You know,
No, he's also a cat man. He loves cats.
Oh, is he
too.
also a cat man? So Danny just gave me such a nice cat fan intro. I'm quite pleased Paul is ill. But I actually didn't know whether or not Paul was a cat man or not.
The thing is, I'm not particularly a cat person, but I really enjoyed the programme. And it started to make me think differently, which is what I gather you'd hope would happen. Start to feel differently.
So let me just, as Danny says, it's a show about cats. At one point, Channel 4 was so worried that people wouldn't get what it was. They said, shall we call it? Well, actually, I suggested, because they were so worried, a TV show about cats as the title. Because people are like, can you do that? A television show about cats? And as I point out at the top of the show, television, since it started, since its black and white days, have had shows about dogs. And all I'm saying, and I like dogs, but all I'm saying is maybe one show against the 700 about dogs, about cats, might not be a bad thing. And
you've just done it again there, David. I love the way you have to not pretend, if that's the right word, but emphasise that you're not against dogs. Yeah. Because you're getting nowhere in this country if you're against dogs. I am.
You're correct, Danny. I am terrified that there's going to be an enormous dog backlash. I mean, not from the dogs themselves, although I'd be frightened of that too, but from the owners and the British people who may say, "What? He said something negative about dogs? That's the end of it." But it's true. I am not at all. I like dogs when they appear in my life, which they do sometimes. I think they seem nice. They're not cats. And I have been obsessed with cats sort of my whole life, actually. I mean, I'd say it's football and then cats. It's basically my obsessions. And luckily, with Andy Jacobs, I was able to do a television show about football. And then many years later, I've done one about cats. So I'm in a lucky position from that point of view. Danny, your cat, there's a picture of cat. Is there
That's one of them. That's Kiki. I painted that picture of Kiki.
Oh, wow.
I was afraid to show it because Andy, of course, is a very talented artist. But look, just to show you the example. So there's a picture of the cat that I've painted. The lady wife scoured the earth. We've got a ginger cat, a black and white cat, and a tabby. She's managed to find a cup with all three of them, and she didn't get this made. She just found this. I think she went to every shop in the known world to get that cup. But David, explain it to me then. Explain it to me, because I am a relative newcomer to this. My great friend and often radio partner Danny Baker goes on about dogs and how he does. But why am I suddenly being enchanted and entranced and hypnotised by these animals? You can't train cats to do anything. You can't talk to them, and yet they're now absolutely part of my life.
Well, you certainly can talk to them. I talk to my cats all the time. Whether they talk back, I mean, I think they do, but some people might disagree. Well, Desiree Birch on my show, who's a very fine comedian, I don't think it's in the first show, but in one of the shows, we talk to people about the misconceptions that they have about cats. And there's the standard ones. People think cats are standoffish. They think cats have no empathy, all of which we display as wrong. But she says something very intelligent. She says, the biggest misconception about cats is that some people don't like them. And she says what they mean is they've never spent any real time with cats. And I am of the belief that there are people like yourself who thought, I don't really care for cats. I'm not really a cat person. What you need to be is put in a room, forced into a room with cats for some time. And then you'll realise, God, they're A, amazing. B, I'm kind of in love with them. And C, I didn't realise what they can do. Because I, myself, when I was promoting this show and talking about this show, was always just like, there should be a show about cats because lots of people love them. I love them. But then people would say, what will they do? And I was a little bit uncertain about that. But on this show, and you'll have seen it, I go paddleboarding. I go mountain walking with cats.
That was amazing.
In the next episode, I can't remember which episode it is, but I go into hospital with a cat that's a trauma therapy cat. Cats can do many things. They can do tricks, but tricks are kind of beneath them. And so what they do instead, they're a little bit beneath them, I think. I've seen cats do a little bit of sort of, okay, I'll high five, but I don't really want to, because it's what am I? I'm a cat, that's not for me. But what they are is, let me tell you a quick story, which is not on the show, right? Yeah. And it's quite a dog-like story, but I think it tells, it shows you what I mean. So I used to have a cat called Monkey. Andy Jacobs may even have seen Monkey.
I remember Chairman Mao. I remember him really well.
Chairman Meow, not Chairman Mao.
Chairman
Meow.
Chairman
Meow. Call that cat Chairman Mao. What kind of pun would that be?
Chairman Meow, sorry.
Chairman Meow. But we also had a cat called Monkey. And Monkey was a lovely bloke. He undermined every stereotype about cats being standoffish and unfriendly, whatever. Because not only was he friendly to us, he was friendly to all the other cats, none of whom were his relatives that were living with me at the time. And one day, Morwenna Banks, who obviously is Mummy Pig, so there's a lot of animals in this story, a pig and a cat, was working, she's my wife, she's working at the top of the house, and then suddenly Monkey appears and he meows and meows and meows, and she thinks, like people do, he just wants feeding. He's a selfish cat. And so she thought, okay, I'll go downstairs and feed him. But she doesn't get downstairs. She gets halfway downstairs, Monkey stops outside and meows, and then...
And very standoffish. That's her character. And the only person in the world who's allowed to touch her is me. Everybody else gets a stripe. And yet, a couple of years ago, I came back from America. I picked up some terrible SARS-like bug there, and I was ill. I was in bed. She never comes near our bedroom. All the time I was ill, she was in the bed with me. Just got in on top of the bed. She knew I was ill and needed... it's amazing. It was amazing.
I promise you, and Andy again can testify this, I am the least woo, least new age, least there are things we don't know about person. I just believe in the world as it is. And I promise you, cats know when you're ill, they know when you're upset, especially the cat that attaches to you. So Pip, who is the cat who you'll have seen sadly passes away in the first episode of my show, she was attached mainly to my daughter Dolly, who, when she was a teenager, had a few issues and often got very distressed. Pip would always appear out of nowhere and just get close to her to try and calm her down. You know, it was really, really extraordinary. And I just think, you know, people have a notion that dogs are very grateful to us for feeding them and looking after them, and they are very immediate with it. And sometimes with cats, it takes longer to emerge, I think. You build up a relationship with them, and then suddenly they're there when you need them.
It's very interesting. The show's gone down well. You've got a great review in Church Times. That's quite a first for you, I gather.
Assimilation at last, Andy.
And also...
Frank Skinner, can I just say? Frank Skinner, I sent that review to Frank Skinner because Frank Skinner is a devout Catholic. Of course, that's an Anglican thing, Church Time. So he said, I'll look out for a review in the Tablet, which is the Catholic thing. He then sent me a joke about the Pope being a Catholic, which...
You're well clear of him, David.
I just want to say, though, that one of the things that struck me in the first show was when you talked about losing Monkey, and you compared and Pip, but you compared it to your dad and how you were with your dad when he died and with the cat. And I thought it was very, very interesting and very honest and typical.
Well, what I said was that I cried more. I think Dolly, my daughter, who came with me to the putting down of Monkey, said she had never seen a human being cry as much as that. And she was obviously the child in that room at the time. Now she's an adult. But I think that it's a very pure form of sadness. I mean, this is not just with cats, with any animal, any pet that you have. It's a very pure form of sadness. You feel just incredibly sad, and you don't feel all the complications and complicated history that you might feel when a relative dies. And it doesn't mean, as I said, I didn't love my dad. I really loved my dad, but I loved him in a complicated way because he was a complicated man. Monkey was not a complicated man, and that's the difference.
Yeah, very interesting. It's good.
Yeah, it also got me thinking when you went to visit the great Larry the cat, the number 10 Downing Street cat. Now, Larry's getting on a bit. I wonder if he'll have a state funeral. I'm very much up for that. I think
a state funeral is a very good idea. I mean, actually, I was very, very proud of something, which is that Larry not only turned up, because sometimes he doesn't, he's got a very busy schedule. He has to go to Davos and all that. But he allowed me to pick him up. And I think in the last episode, you'll see, I actually make a short speech, a short resignation like David Cameron after Brexit like speech, holding Larry, which apparently that's very unusual. I'm very, very honoured that he did that.
Well, David, listen, it's been the first episode was brilliant. I've only got one criticism of it. It should have been 4 hours long. But you've denied us that. There are some more episodes to come.
There's one tonight. Tonight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We were supposed to talk to you about football and stuff, but that never got going, really. And I've got to be honest, it was never getting going. Let's be honest about that. David, thank you for joining us, and thank you for making the programme, which I'm now going to pick up. David Baddiel, everybody. And you can see the second of David Baddiel, Catman, on Channel 4 tonight. And I can say this, and I sometimes say this just because the guests have come in, I can heartily recommend it to you. It really is an extraordinary
It's perfect that you were on today, I must say.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And you are listening to Kelly and Jacobs on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Gear up for those darker nights with electrical and lighting offers. Next stop, Toolstation. Mikey Naylor's been in touch with me on social media, Andy, to say, Danny, you're so right about cats and dogs. And there's a lovely photograph of what appears to be a very, very large framed picture. He says, I got my wife this 4 foot by 3 foot picture made up of our dog at a museum staring at a picture of his favourite toy, a frisbee. Unfortunately, I have no idea where it'll fit in our house. And he says, I'm a 53-year-old carpenter, and I should know better. No, Mikey, you should not know better. The completely inappropriate pet-related present is a perfect thing in the world. Our next guest, I bet, has dogs. I'm just making a wild guess at this, and I'll apologise if I'm wrong. Here to discuss the Cheltenham Trials this weekend, the future of Live Golf, and Emma Raducanu being, well, it's not really a joke, is it? Emma Raducanu being knocked out of the Australian Open before it began, maybe squeezing Aston Villa as well. I'm delighted to say the man who wears so many hats for talkSPORT, Rupert Bell, is with us. Hi, Rupert.
Hi, and to answer, sadly, I'm no longer a dog owner. Dear old Fudge died a couple of years ago, and unfortunately, sort of haven't. Well, I've replaced him with a cat called Percy.
Is there any kind of replacement for Fudge? Not really.
Not really, but Miss Fudge. But hey ho, life goes on. But I like many other pet owners who've lost one. It's never an easy moment, but we have treasured memories.
You are the perfect guest, Rupert, because you cover so many subjects. We'll start with Cheltenham, and it's a big meeting tomorrow. I hadn't realised how important this is for punters who are attending the festival to get some sort of tips from what's going on.
Yeah, it's known as Trials Day, and actually tomorrow there's some tasty races, particularly in the hurdle race, because you've got the first two in the champion hurdle betting. That's Sergino and the New Lion, who rather blotted his copybook on return, the New Lion, by tipping up in the fighting fifth hurdle, another dramatic hurdle race. But Sergino swept all before him in the Christmas hurdle, and could debate will he go back fencing. But with the Constitution Hills conundrum still exercising Nicky Henderson and the team, Sergino is a worthy favourite. So if he wins tomorrow, he will be probably even shorter price favourite for the Champion Hurdle, which is on March the 10th. And I'm assuming, Andy, you are at this moment getting your new tailored tweed suit for this year's renewal.
I'm absolutely desperate to be. After not being able to go last year, I'm really, really hoping everything works out this year. I missed it. I missed it like mad. It's so much fun.
Yeah, that's not the detail, though. The new tweed suit is the detail, Andy.
No, I'll stick with the old one. It's still all right.
Okay. I was looking forward to seeing you in some new twill. Let's talk then about this is one of my favourite stories currently going on in the world of global sport, Rupert Bell. The endless tug of war between the PGA and Live Golf, which has now got Rory McIlroy like some kind of traffic warden saying, "You haven't paid your fine. You're not moving that car till you paid a fine." What's going on, Rupert?
Well, this is the legal battle between the DP World Tour, of which Rory McIlroy is obviously a member. Jon Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton are playing. Well, Tyrrell Hatton is playing this week in Dubai, but they've got this legal case. They don't want to pay their fines for playing on the DP World Tour, and it's been delayed, a bit like the Manchester City and Premier League legal case that just seems to be incredibly protracted. And really what Rory and many other people are saying is, look, let's just sort it out. Let's get the legal problem sorted out. And then it's up to Jon Rahm, if he knows the situation, if he wants to pay his fines and then be eligible for the Ryder Cup next year, then that all well and good. But it's all a bit of a grey area. And Tyrrell Hatton is another one who's in that sort of grey area. Lots of other players have paid their fines and are happy to sort of juggle between the two tours. But for Jon Rahm, it may be he may just say, no, I don't want to pay. And then that could mean he'll miss next year's Ryder Cup at the Adair Manor. So it is a mess. And there's no two ways about it. And sometimes you feel the DP World Tour are sort of putting it in the too difficult corner to sort out. I may be wrong there. And so the players are sort of carrying on. Well, it is in this sort of too difficult corner for the DP World Tour to resolve.
They do want their cake and eat it, though, a bit, don't they? Now, will Emma Raducanu ever recapture that first brilliant tournament? I mean, and every time she loses, she blames the coach. I mean, there has to be a point, isn't there, where she looks in the mirror and goes, "It's not the coach, it's me."
Well, it's a bit like Manchester United, isn't it? She changes coaches like Manchester United changed managers or have done recently. She is. I think there aren't any coaches left on the World Tour, it would seem. It's a poison chalice, I think, taking that job on. They've sort of remodelled her forehand and everything, and that didn't seem to work in Australia, so she was blaming that. So I feel the current coach is on borrowed time, but it is frustrating. It all happened so quickly for her by winning that US Open, so she's inevitably always in the spotlight. She's quite a strong-minded individual, so she knows what she wants, but her body is also injury-prone, so everything is conspiring against her. But she does need to find somebody who can give her some long-term security in the coaching department. But maybe this current incumbent, who's worked as part of the Nadal team and everything, is not quite good enough. So frustrating as the British Challenge in the singles has come to a crashing end today. So it's not been a great first few days at the Australian Open for British tennis, and the spotlight inevitably is always on Emma Raducanu and her problems with her coaches.
Listen, Rupert, it's always great fun to talk to you. Sorry I brought up, I forgot about poor old Fudge, so sorry I brought that up and picked up a particularly painful scab. The great Rupert Bell there, who I love talking to, and I started off there by making him a bit sadder than he needs to be. Next up, somebody I'm looking forward to broadcasting with. We used to do it every night for about 7 hours on kick-off back in the day. Stan Collymore is next up here on, he said Trans-Europe Express on Kelly and Jacobs.
We're told Spurs are working on a deal to sign Liverpool's Andy Robertson. Arne Slot wasn't asked about that today, but he is more confident about Milos Kerkez following his Champions League performance.
Milos is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, in my opinion. He plays better and better and better, so it was a moment to give him that game during the week as well, and he did really well, in my opinion, in Marseille.
Meanwhile, Mo Salah's expected to play at Bournemouth tomorrow. Newcastle hope Bruno Guimaraes will be fit to face Villa on Sunday. Eddie Howe was cagey on the extent of his ankle injury. We understand West Ham have rejected a formal bid for Lucas Paquetá from Flamengo in Brazil. West Ham versus Sunderland is live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. A Leeds bid for Jorgen Strand-Larsen has been rejected by Wolves. All the latest, of course, is on talksport.com. Unai Emery's brushed off his push on Yuri Tielemans, saying, "He's my son." Former Villa keeper Mark Bosnich has played down their touchline spat.
Sometimes when you're close to people, you tend to let your emotions go a little bit further than you normally would because you know them so well. But long term, the time you've got to worry as a player, and Razor will tell you, is when the manager ignores you completely. You can tell how much he cared about the player.
Villa are through to the Europa League knockouts with a game to spare. Meanwhile, England have named their Six Nations squad and despite a horror run of injuries, are also in. Meanwhile, Saracens director Mark McCall will leave the club at the end of the season after 15 years. And Cam Norrie is out of the Australian Open tennis, ending British involvement in the singles.
To South Africa with the Barmy Army on talkSPORT.
Yeah, our next fantastic competition has arrived. England return to South Africa next winter, and as always, the Barmy Army will be out there in full force, and this time you could be there too. We're giving away a week for two at the 2027 New Year's Test in Cape Town, every day of the match at one of the world's most beautiful cricket grounds, with flights, hotel and spending money all covered. It's your chance to secure two spots with the official Barmy Army, so you'll be right in the middle with the rest of the fans. Listen up then, here's how to enter.
For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate. Or call 0343 418 7260. Lines closed 6th of February 2026 at 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. It's a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. Your chance to win, text WIN, W-I-N, to 83338 right now. Nice surprise.
Right, now we're going to talk about football. Some of you with longer memories may remember there was a time back in the day when Stan Collymore and I used to dominate the airwaves here at talkSPORT. Our every night show between 7 and 10 was just enormously delightful to people.
Award-winning, I would have said.
It was award-winning, but we were split up when research showed we'd become more popular than the royal family, and that couldn't be allowed to continue. I am delighted to say then that the reunion is back on, and it's a huge welcome from the very bottom of my space hopper-sized heart. Stan Collymore. Hello, Stanley. How are you, man?
massive treat to be able to get to broadcast with both of you. Two of my favourite, not just broadcasters, but two of my favourite people. So Danny will know this. Always fresh, never frozen, Danny. Do you remember that?
That was our unlikely catchphrase because frankly the sponsors had that catchphrase.
It was a pizza company, and they were always fresh and never frozen.
It's great to see you, Stan. Of course, I follow your adventures on social media and stuff, and it's great to see you in such physical and I hope mental brilliant place because I like you so much. Now you have got something you want to get off your chest. We've seen a succession of 0-0 draws in the Premier League, and I can't quite work it out. Some people are saying if you're relying on long throws for goals, then you really are struggling. Your theory is that we're being let down by some of these superstar wide forwards.
Yeah, one of the things I hate about modern punditry, and I suppose I was guilty of it to a degree, doing phone-ins, and you have key topics that you know that are going to fly and that are going to wind people up. And that seems to be the sort of the way that football broadcasting is that it's about this or it's about that, without diving, to use an Americanism, under the hood and looking at the possible reasons. Now, we've had, I think, 17 0-0 draws, which is about the same as the whole of last season. That's a bit of an outlier generally, but I think in the last couple of seasons we've feasted on lots of goals. I think we're averaging about 2.7 goals a game. I think it was 3.3, 3.4 a couple of seasons ago. So it's settling back down a little bit. But I thought, well, why is this in this particular season? So I had a look at individual players and positions that they played in. Now, I just need to take you back a little bit in terms of how coaches grade key performance indicators players. If you're a striker back in the day, and the same now, 1 in 2 goals for a striker is elite. So in a 38 Premier League game season, 19, say 20 league goals is exceptional. Anybody above that is wonderful. So
superstar,
so people like Mo Salah have been breaking that for a number of seasons. Triple elite. 1 in 3 for an old-fashioned winger playing 4-4-2. But now, of course, for the last 10, 15 years, we've been playing a hybrid, Mo Salah, that's playing not as an out-and-out wide man. He's playing 10, 15 yards closer to a centre-forward, one central striker we tend to play. So it's a hybrid of a wide man and a central striker. And the elite level statistic for goals per game is half a goal per game. So again, you're looking at realistically, if you're Bukayo Saka, if you're Tell, if you're Doku, if you're Semenyo, Garnacho, Harvey Barnes, you're looking at around still between 15 and 20 goals a season. Now, I'm going to give you some stats that show that it's wide men, without any shadow of a doubt, that are letting the game down this season in terms of goals in the Premier League. Bukayo Saka, the poster boy of English wide play, 1 goal in 4 this season. 4 Premier League goals. That's poor. Mo Salah, 5 goals in 20 games, the same, 1 in 4 goals per game. Poor for him. Doku, 3 in 27. So it's 1 goal every 9 games. He's getting nowhere near the 1 in every half games. Tell it your lot, Gianni, 3 in 19. Pedro Neto, 7 in 30 at Chelsea. Elanga, 18 appearances, 0 goals, 1 assist. Anthony Gordon will be going off to the World Cup, we hope, with England. 2 goals in 17. And the one player that has hit the benchmark in terms of acceptable elite statistics for an elite wide man has been Semenyo, who, of course, has gone from Bournemouth to Manchester City in this window. The statistics for wide men this season in terms of goal scoring and assists is woeful.
Why is that, Stan? The stats speak for themselves, but have you got a reason why you think that might be the case?
You would think that it would have to do with something about the opponent's ability to be able to defend. And I certainly think now we've gone from the high watermark of 2 or 3 years ago, where, as I said, we were talking about 3.3, 3.4 goals per game. You could watch every match day, and it was like that famous graphic that gets posted every Christmas of Boxing Day of 6-3, 7-3, 7-4, etc., etc. Maybe teams are getting more bodies behind the ball and making it more difficult for midfield creators and in terms of wide men. But what I would say is that I think that it shines a light firmly on the sort of Messi and Ronaldo era of them posting ridiculous amounts of goals, 30s, 40s, 50s, that then tailed off with the likes of Mo Salah. And now we're going back to a time where it's roughly, if you take all of those players that I've mentioned, they're all having poor seasons, bar Semenyo, but we're getting back to the kind of stats that old-fashioned wide men would post. 1 goal in every 3 or 4 games and leave it to strikers. Now, I haven't got the solution. Like I say, it may well be just teams are better set up defensively and then just not letting wide men run roughshod through them. But I know that there's an antidote to it, and that is if wide men are posting wide men's figures from 20, 30 years ago, then somewhere along the line, a coach is going to go, let's play wide men to the wide right and left of the 18-yard box, put crosses into the box, and let's play 2 central strikers instead of 1. So I wonder whether the stats people at football clubs will look at this and say, the next generation of wide men that were supposed to be scoring better than a goal a game aren't. Do we need to play with another striker? And for me, as a former striker that played with the likes of Brian Roy, Robbie Fowler, made my England debut with Shearer, I think that could well be the next development, is the return of 2 centre-forwards.
What about assists, though? I mean, that's another role that they have to do. But the other thing I'd say to you is, apart from Erling Haaland, which central strikers in the Premier League are going to get 20 goals this season?
Yeah, I agree with you, Andy. But if you're looking at assists, Garnacho at your lot. I know, again, we're not talking about players that have played the requisite 20, 30 games in some regards. Some of them have had injuries. But he's got 1 goal in 14, 3 assists. The 3 assists isn't bad. If you're looking at Anthony Elanga, that came in for big money at Newcastle United and was expected in a very open and expansive Eddie Howe system that loves pace, that loves counter-attacking. I'm up in the northeast at the minute. I'm going to go and watch Newcastle against Villa this weekend. Is that players like Harvey Barnes, 5 goals in 21, not bad in terms of his goals. It's still, 1 in 4. It's not great in terms of the last 2 or 3 seasons. 0 assists. Anthony Elanga, 18 appearances, no goals, 1 assist. So it's not even a case of we're seeing these players that moved in 10, 15 yards from the touchline to be able to cut in and score goals. Think of Bukayo Saka at his best. Cuts in from that right-hand side of the 18-yard box, and then it's either I'm going to play a little pass into somebody or I'm going to curl the ball past the goalkeeper's right arm. Is that the assists don't add up. Saka's 5 assists and 4 Premier League goals are very, very lukewarm. But he's playing in a team top of the table by, 6, 7 points?
By a mile, yeah.
Probably go to town on the Premier League this season. Is that when people turn around and say it's a poor Premier League, it's a poor Premier League because the people that are being paid to score better than a goal a game, maybe 6 to 10 assists a season, simply aren't doing the job.
Stan, I agree with you that 2 up front is the way out of this if there is a cul-de-sac, and that's why what I'm about to tell you now is so fascinating. Arsenal, as you say, running away with the title, some would say, having brought in Victor Gyökeres for a small fortune this summer. Breaking news, talkSPORT understands they have now held exploratory talks with Atletico Madrid, about bringing striker Julian Alvarez to North London. Athletic could be prepared to sell the former Manchester City star for €100 million. Arsenal sporting director Andrea Berta has close links with Alvarez, having negotiated his move from City to Atletico. Barcelona are also very interested in signing the Argentine international forward. Of course they are, but they don't have the money so to do unless they'll have to sell the pitch soon if they to keep up with that. But it would be interesting. There you've got a very mobile striker and the big fella. We may be returning to the 70s, 80s and 90s. Who knows? Next up, Stan, thank you for that. It's a fantastic exposition of something that's happening that does need saying. And next up, we'll have the Fools panel. Nigel Adderley will be our commentator. Stan will be our expert. And one of you will be trying to prove they know nothing about football. That's next here on Kelly and Jacobs. Yeah, now one of my favourite things that happens on Hawksbee and Jacobs on a Friday, the Fools panel.
Oh, yes.
Where a member of the public, one of our commentators, and Stan Collymore get a chance to predict the weekend's football matches. Now, you can never follow these things in detail. All I know, Andy, is how the league table stands.
It's not good for me.
It's not good for you, Andy. You are the Wolverhampton Wanderers of the current setup. It might be so bold. Stan is top of the table, so he'll be going first. Paul, represented, I don't think very well by me, is second. The commentators, in this case Nigel Adderley, representing them, are third. The callers, bless them, are fourth. And you, Andy, who ought to know better, are bottom of the table as we stand. We've got 3 games for you. Let me just tell you what they are. First one will be West Ham against Sunderland. That's live on talkSPORT tomorrow afternoon. Then on Sunday, the big game, updates on talkSPORT between Arsenal and Manchester United. And then the 8 o'clock kickoff, presumably on Monday, between Everton and Leeds. That's also live here on talkSPORT. So why don't we begin? Because these things always take rather longer than you expect. The first game then is West Ham against Sunderland. What's the result of this? Hugely important game for West Ham United following their morale-boosting win at Dr. Tottenham. Stan, what is the score going to be between West Ham and Sunderland?
No West Ham clean sheet in the last 19 games, despite that confidence-boosting win at your lot. However, I think that will give them a fillip, a sort of a Rubicon crossed, if you like. West Ham United 2, Sunderland 1.
Okay, I'm representing Paul. They won't keep a clean sheet. West Ham. Sunderland not quite in the sort of world-busting form they were at the start of the season. I think this might end up a draw. I'm going to go for 1-1. Nigel Adderley. Hello, Nigel.
Afternoon, Danny. I think West Ham might keep a clean sheet. I think that they'll take so much from the win last week. I think it'll be tight. I think Sunderland are a fairly tough nut to crack, but I think West Ham might win 1-0.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Not much faith in Sunderland here after their great start to the season. Barry is the caller who's from thousands of you rang in. He's the one that's been selected as the brightest person that came on the phone. Hello, Barry, how are you?
Good afternoon, Danny. Nice to speak to you. Andy, good afternoon.
Hi.
Yeah, Barry is an Arsenal fan, and notice how I was very kind there, didn't say a word. I can't really say much at the moment, can I? Barry, I'll get your view on the Arsenal-Man United game in just a little while, but what about this one? What do you think the score will be between West Ham and Sunderland?
I think West Ham, after last week, will obviously have a bit of confidence, but I think Sunderland have got a few boys back from the African nation, so I can see a 1-1, Danny.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, very much needing to get these next 3 results right. Andy, looking upwards, as they say.
Half the problem is when you go last every time, I've written down 1-1, but if I do that, then, I'm not going to get any points. So I'll go with a surprising, this is why I'm bottom of the table, 2-1 win to Sunderland.
Yeah, I think you should just go what you actually think might happen, Andy. In the long run, it may not make for radio entertainment, but it'll stop you looking like a numpty, won't it?
No, nothing can do that. Go on.
It can.
Next game.
All right, the big one again is Sunday, 4:30 kickoff. Arsenal against Manchester United, themselves somewhat revivified by the arrival of Michael Carrick, who at least has the players facing in the right direction in the games. Stan. Look, United had a brilliant result against Manchester City, but this Arsenal team is pure murder, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that I think United will score. I think that it'd be interesting to see what's gone behind the scenes at Manchester United this week. I think with Carrick and the likes, have just breathed some confidence into the players and just said, "Look, you're better than the table suggests. We're going to play with quite a fluid system. We're going to play round pegs in round holes. No more adhering to just one way of playing." I think that will give the players a degree of freedom. So I think they will score. Be an entertaining game. The eyes of the world on it. Good kick-off time. Players have had their get up, had the breakfast, gone for their walk, ready for it. They know that they're prime time. But I think that Arsenal will win, and I think that Arsenal will just score one more goal. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 1, which will continue the run of 4 home victories would turn into 5 against Manchester United.
Yeah, well, it's with great regret that I have to admit what a fantastic team Arsenal are. That taste in my mouth, that's vinegar and ashes, yeah. Look, they really are very good. Their physical power is something else. Now, Manchester United at least won't have that terrible midfield they were putting out where the legs would have been overrun. But I expect a comfortable win for Arsenal here. With all due respect to Manchester United and their manager, I'm going 3-1 to the North Londoners. Nigel?
I think it'll be very similar to the opening day in terms of how the game might be won. Arsenal won 1-0 at Old Trafford with a set piece. I think they'll do something similar. I think United will be better. I think they'll be buoyed by what happened last week. But I think Arsenal will win 1-0.
Thank you very much indeed. OK, well, I don't expect Barry, the Arsenal fan. He might say, it's going to be very tough and all the rest of it. I don't expect him to predict a Manchester United win. Barry?
Oh, it's going to be very tough, Danny. But I'm going to go
United are a great team, etc., etc. You sound like a manager now, Barry.
I'm going to go with Stan. I'm going to go with a 2-1. I think United might score, but I think we might just eke it out because probably a set play, to be fair, Danny. But we'll take whatever we can get. 2-1 Arsenal.
Barry, you dusting off the open-top bus to go down Upper Street?
No, I'm not one of them, Danny. I really aren't. If we were 7 clear with 2 games to go, I'd still think we might be deducted points. So I'll wait till it's done before I start shouting from the rooftops.
That's probably a very sensible policy, given recent events in the last couple of seasons, shall we say. Andy, your chance here to steal a march and everybody, predicting a massive United win.
No, I'm going to go for a 2-2. I think it might be a draw.
Oh.
I thought United were so impressive last week. And
they were really good.
Carry on. Arsenal had a difficult game in the week and, or I think a bit of time to get over it.
Who knows? Sorry, Barry. Who knows? United may even force Arsenal to play a bit of football. We shall see. And finally, the 8 o'clock kick-off, I'm assuming that's Monday. It doesn't say on here, but I assume it is between Everton and Leeds in the Premier League. It's an exclusive here on talkSPORT. Leeds much improved in recent times and possibly started to put a little bit of pressure on Stan's Nottingham Forest, which I didn't think was going to happen. What do you think is going to happen here, Stan?
Yeah, firstly, Everton have got people back, Gay and Di, back from the African Cup of Nations, which will be massive for them because I made the mistake last weekend of doing a sort of Villa-Everton match report bemoaning how many Villa players had injured and an avalanche of Evertonians saying, we've had 13 out and it's you're making excuses. Of course, they got Jack Grealish out as well on top of that. But I thought they were very good, Everton. Garner in particular is having a fine sort of middle of the season. It's been very tight between these two teams. I think the reverse fixture is 1-0 to Leeds. So I'm going to go Everton 1, Leeds United 0.
Okay, I've got a quick insight. I've been really impressed with what Farker has done with Leeds' team by making what looks like a defensive reinforcement. He's actually set their team free to play. I think they'll score, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. Nigel Adderley, who will no doubt be commenting on some of these games over the weekend, what do you think the score might be in that one between Everton and Leeds?
I think Calvert-Lewin might go back to Everton and score, but I think Everton will win. I think they've had the odd blip at home, and I think Leeds could be due a defeat. I mean, I've been very impressed with them, seen a lot of them recently, and I've no doubts they'll stay up, but I think Everton will win this game 2-1.
Which takes us to Barry, the Arsenal fan. What do you think about this one, Barry? What's the score going to be at the new stadium? It looks like it's floating on water. Beautiful thing. Come on, Barry.
Come on, Barry.
We talked about Arsenal. He's gone, hasn't he?
He's given up now. So I've got my tuppence worth in. Is he there?
Yeah, yes.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, go on,
yes,
Barry.
I can. Yeah, loud and clear now, my friend. L and C. What's the score going to be between Everton and Leeds?
I'm going to go for a 1-1 there, Danny, like you. I just think Everton are not that great and Leeds are in a bit of form, but yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-1.
Which takes your last word to you, Andy, which you think is some kind of disadvantage, but you've had the benefit of all these collected brains telling you what might happen.
Once again, I'm bucking the trend.
Trend buckage.
Yeah, absolutely. With a 1-0 win for Leeds.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet. That wouldn't surprise me in the slightest either. That's a very, very difficult game to predict. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Nigel.
Danny, cheers, Andy.
And particularly thank you, Stan, for the last half hour. It's been a joy, mate. And I'll see you again soon. Lovely to see you looking so well as well. Cheers.
Up the Villa.
Yep, he'll be back. Yeah, he'll be back next week, no doubt, here on H&J. Those commentary games for you. talkSPORT exclusive Saturday, 12:30, West Ham against Sunderland. And then Monday night, Everton against Leeds is also an exclusive here on talkSPORT, where you've been listening to me and Andy for the last little while. and where we've still got a whole lot to get through in the final hour of the show. This is Kelly and Jacobs. You're the listening millions, and that, I've just checked with local bylaws, is exactly what people are looking for.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van range. Commercial vehicles that go the distance for your business. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
The headlines at 3:02. I'm Tom Clayton. Good afternoon. It's our understanding Arsenal have held exploratory talks with Atletico about Julian Alvarez. Our sources indicate Barcelona remain the favourites to get his signature, but Atleti could be willing to sell for €100 million. Now, Aston Villa could soon be welcoming back a promotion hero 7 years after he left.
Tammy Abraham is expected to fly and complete his formalities within the next 24 to 48 hours, with a likelihood that this deal is formalised and announced either late weekend or early next week.
That's talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs, who's explained it's a very complicated deal involving two of the clubs abroad. Elsewhere, could Liverpool be ready to part ways with a club stalwart? It's our understanding that Andy Robertson is subject to Spurs' interest. Here's talkSPORT's Alex Crook.
Initially, Tottenham were looking at taking Robertson as a free agent when his contract expires in the summer. We're told they're looking to bring that interest forward to this window. There has been an approach made by Tottenham to Liverpool.
To South London, where Oliver Glasner has cleared up the situation around Jean-Philippe Mateta.
Very clear, so he didn't hand in a transfer request, and we have no bid received right now. That's the situation.
The striker's been subject to interest in England and abroad this window. Elsewhere, Marseille have confirmed the signing of Ethan Nwaneri on loan from Arsenal. West Ham have turned down a £40 million bid for Lucas Paquetá. We understand Leeds reject a bid for Wolves striker Jørgen Strand-Larsen, was worth around £30 million plus add-ons. And Michael Carrick says players like Kobbie Mainoo are the foundation of Manchester United. This report suggests they're open to talks about a new contract.
talkSPORT News.
Donald Trump sparks fury in Britain today after downplaying our part in the Afghanistan war and high stakes but low expectations as Ukraine, Russia and the US hold peace talks. More from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Whatever the winter weather, Bridgestone Turanza all-season 6 tyres, guaranteed for 25,000 miles. Book today at quickfit.com. Conditions apply.
Cloudy with rain for many of us, a few clearer spells in the southwest before heavy wind and rain arrives later, windy across the country.
Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Yeah, welcome back to the final hour of today's edition of Kelly and Jacobs. Lot to get through. Andy will be doing some of his nonsense in a little while. That's what I've been told to say. Todd Macklin will join us on the weekend that sees the conference finals, the semi-finals in the Super Bowl race. We'll have a brilliant clips of the week for you with the chaps from the sports bar, and we'll end off with all the latest updates from the press conferences the managers have been doing. But time now for today's bet build with our friends at Paddy Power. Welcome to Lewis Richards, and we are looking forward to tomorrow afternoon in the Premier League as Bournemouth play Liverpool at the Vitality Stadium. Lewis, please remind us of how the bet builder actually works.
Afternoon, gents. Of course, anyone new to bet builders, just think of it as your classic hacker. But instead of picking different teams to all win their respective games, you're picking different outcomes to happen in the same game. Not forgetting that Super Sub is always there for you in case your player does get subbed off.
Very interesting lighting you've got today, Lewis.
Yeah. Quite
ghosty, really.
I've got the two screens set up, right, and I'm on a stats page, and it's all white, so it's just lighting up my face. Yeah.
Well, Lewis, if any film directors out there looking for the next Dracula, you're the man by the look of that.
You're telling me I need to get some sun. Oh.
And there you go. He's lit himself right up now.
That would be nice.
And of course, it's a charity bet, and the various excellent charities may benefit. I'm going to start, Lewis, and there's been a lot of talk, even on this show, about the number of 0-0 draws we've seen this season. Something's changing in English football. I don't believe this is going to be one of those games. I'm going to go for my bet to there'll be 4 or more goals in this match.
Whoa. Yeah. For Bournemouth,
have I ruined the bet already?
I don't think so. Because for Bournemouth, this has come out in 5 of their last 6 games with some incredible scorelines. For Liverpool, it's 2 in 6. But if you look at some of Liverpool's dodgy fixtures lately, they are prone to concede a goal every now and again. So at 7-5, I quite like it, thanks to Bournemouth's recent record in goals. I like it.
Honestly, you have to hand it to Iraola. Bournemouth have had so many injuries and so many players leave. And, it's very difficult for them, but he's doing a good job. I'm going, though, I think Liverpool win this. I'm going with Ekitike to score at any time.
6-5, Liverpool's leading goal scorer. He's got 8 in the Premier League this season, 3 in his last 5 games with an assist. So for me, it would be a toss-up between Ekitike and Wirtz, who would grab a goal here.
The producer, Sean, he's following slightly in the wake of my bet because he may not be thinking there'll be 4 goals or more in the game, but he does believe, Lewis, that both sides will score.
It's not hard to see why. As we just said, Bournemouth, they've scored 9 in their last 4. And as we said, Liverpool always more than likely to get at least 1. So 1-2, a short price, but you can see why.
Okay, which takes us to the people's pick, and the people have been very, very predictable here. Come on, people. They've gone for a Liverpool win. Simple as that.
Yeah, and I normally love to be with the people, but 20-23 are the odds here. I wouldn't want to be on Liverpool right now at odds on and away from home. You look at those results: 1-1 to Burnley in a completely dominating game, 2-2 Fulham, and 0-0 to Leeds, just to name a few in those last couple of. I hope they win. Of course, I hope they win, but I wouldn't want to be on them at that price.
Yeah, I mean they're unbeaten in a lot of games, but they do draw a lot of games. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, you've always got to take that. I see that stat get banded around. Liverpool have got like the best unbeaten run in Europe at the moment. There's so many draws in there; it's unreal.
And Lewis, I'm sure your bet will be the one that takes us across the finishing line and tops up the value of the bet. What are you going for?
Yeah, I've gone brave, but you guys have got a recent bit of success on this show. I think you've got 2 or 3 already this year, so you're doing well. But I have gone for Wirtz to get an assist at 12-5. Ekitike, I think, is their best summer signing so far, but I think Wirtz is really starting to come into his own, starting to showcase his skills a little bit more, these little touches here and there. He has got no assists in his last 5 appearances in the Premier League, but he has got 3 goals, so it shows that he's in there. And for me, 12-5 for him to get an anytime assist is more value than the 20-23 odds on for Liverpool to actually win the game. So I'm being brave, going for a big price, but I think
hopefully you'll be right. So where does that leave us then? Where does that leave us with the odds and the value of the charity bet?
We are just under 9.5 to 1 for this one, so it'll be £94 and 30 pence to the Attitude Foundation if we can get this one in.
I think it's all right. Well, listening to the way you all talk there, I suspect it's an absolute certainty, and I look forward to the cheque being in the post to the charity very, very soon. In fact, send it now. Send it now. Don't even bother for the game to be played.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, listen, played on paper, chaps. If only.
Lewis, thank you very much indeed for joining us. That's Paddy Power's Bet Builder for today. Minimum odds 1-5 per leg, 18+, and of course it's BigGambleAware.org.
Paddy Power on talkSPORT. With Paddy's Super Sub, your new bet rolls over to the new player coming on. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18+, BigGambleAware.org.
So, Andy, that needs a small amount of time.
Small window.
I remember a time when we used to do about 45 minutes of your nonsense on this show, but it's all full of proper sports coverage now. I don't approve, but anyway, I blame Paul for that. I blame lazy Paul, just doing sport now. What have you got for us, Andy? Tell me something interesting that's happening in the world.
Well,
no pressure.
Formula One cars are unveiling their new livery. It's not...
Right.
It's something for the fans to be excited about, not the casual viewer, but it is. So Mercedes yesterday launched their new livery, and they sent Formula Ones into meltdown on social media, apparently. And this is what gets me. This is sort of where something will happen, somebody will launch something, there'll be 2 people underneath saying they don't like it, and the press will say, that's what everybody thinks. So basically, yes, they didn't like it. One fan said on Instagram, that thing looks weird. Easily the worst Merc since they changed to black. Another added, nah, man, that thing looks weird. You know, being the journalist that had to pick that up.
Expert,
to justify the story is absolutely brilliant, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, these things shouldn't matter, but of course they do to everybody. You heard Steve Harmison earlier in the show, not at all impressed with Yorkshire, or Leeds as they're now called, in the 100, with their new Tangerine kit. It's a summer game, I get that, and while the Tangerine might look lovely as the last rays of the evening sun in Kolkata disappear over the horizon, I suspect when the rain starts in Leeds, the Tangerine kit might not look so appropriate. Have you got any more, Andy?
I have. Now, I'm going to ask you a question now. Do you remember Bubbles, Michael Jackson's chimpanzee?
I do remember Bubbles, Michael Jackson's chimpanzee. I thought you were talking about Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys, one of my favourite comedies of the last 20 years. Yeah,
he's still with us.
No.
Yeah, guess how old he is now?
Well, he's got to be in his 30s.
He's older. He's 43.
What?
43, is he? I don't know how long chimps tend to live, but that seems like quite a good age.
Well, yeah, I mean, and does he qualify for a pension at some stage?
No idea.
The government have to watch out for that. Down the pipeline, he could well be getting a pension. Bubbles the chimpanzee outlasted Michael Jackson.
Apparently he's ageing gracefully, unlike myself.
That's very, very good to hear. And one more, Andy. Come on, keep coming, mate.
We could do a numbered one. Give me a number from 1 to 100 and something.
All right, I'm going to pick 96.
96. You may have done 96 before, but I'll read another one if you have.
All right.
99.
Just pretend I haven't and read one adjacent to it, Andy.
I can find 95.
It's not an exam.
Where's 96 gone?
Oh, God. The system has collapsed within 30 seconds.
All right, I'll do number 92.
92. That's what I meant to say.
This was This was a letter to the Daily Star from Bob. Don't know his last name, just Bob.
No.
I bought, he says, B-O-R-T, so you already know it's not going to be a great letter. I bought a pair of plimsolls 3 years ago, and the soles started to come off. Look, when, W-E-N, I pay £2.50 F some plimmies, I expect to last longer than that. Well done, Bob. I don't think I'd write to a national newspaper about a pair of plimsolls I bought 3 years ago that had worn out.
For £2, the clue to the non-functioning of Brer Plimsoll may well be contained in the price ticket for them. But tell you what, well done to the person who got £2.50 for those Plimsolls. Well done, you.
Tremendous.
Listen, thank you, Andy, and I'm sorry your numbering system has already broken down under pressure. Don't forget, don't miss DAZN's packed fight schedule with fights every week, including next weekend at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Becomes the battleground as the King at 140. Teofimo Lopez takes on pound-for-pound Prince Shakur Stevenson. That is a huge fight, by the way. It's a must-see showdown. Then kicking off February, Nick Ball against Brendan Figueroa and the rematch between Lee Wood and Josh Warrington. Buy the pay-per-view or sign up to DAZN Ultimate and get 12 plus pay-per-views a year, including Lopez against Stevenson and Marco Barrios versus Ryan Garcia on February the 21st at no extra cost. Watch all these fights only on DAZN.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at dazn.com/boxing.
let me remind you, you're listening to Kelly and Jacobs here on talkSPORT in partnership with Toolstation. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Toolstation. Now that music heralds the arrival, as it always does, of our US sports correspondent. Of course, he's very much part of the furniture here at Hawksbee and Jacobs. It's a big hello to, and to stateside, to Todd Macklin. Hi, Todd.
Guys, I consider myself like an old sofa. Yeah, no, I think that's a good analogy, Danny.
Well,
you might need recovering, let's be honest.
Yeah. Good job you're 3,000 miles away. You wouldn't want me and Andy sitting on you, I can assure you. Todd, it's the semi-finals of the American football, the conference finals, and I thought we'd be talking about Jarrett Stidham, the Broncos quarterback who'd be playing his first game of the season. It's a fairy tale, but no. You want to talk about Cardi B, the rapper, and also about a 4-year-old girl predicting the results. What's this story?
Yeah, I guess there's, like everyone, right? Like everyone has someone that predicts NFL results, but I guess there's a guy who's a radio personality in the U.S. years ago started having his daughter make NFL picks. She did a good job throughout the regular season, but as kind of hit the skids like a lot of people have in the playoffs. She's had a very bad, I think she's got 1 win and 9 losses in the first 2 weekends of the NFL seasons. Like she's getting Cardi B, shouting her out in a negative way. I think the father just came out and said we've had death threats.
I know.
Hey, I have a pretty simple rule, guys, on sports betting. If you're going to bet your own money based on what a 4-year-old or, in the past we've had animals, right, pick Super Bowl winners. Yeah. If you're going to do that, you deserve to lose your money.
I should make
ridiculous.
I should make the point that Cardi B is not just wading in here randomly. Her partner, of course, is the fantastic Stephon Diggs, who plays for New England Patriots, who the 4-year-old has gone against this week. She's predicted they're going to win, and Cardi thinks that might put a curse on them. Just in all seriousness, Todd, it's been the most amazing season in American football. The collapse of the Kansas City Chiefs and 1 or 2 others meant that the thing has been thrown wide open. If I put you on the spot now, not an octopus or a 4-year-old girl, who's going to pick up the Super Bowl in 2 weeks' time? Who's going to win?
I would probably say Seattle. So as I mentioned on the show last week, originally at the beginning of the playoffs, I picked Jacksonville and Seattle. Obviously, Jacksonville got knocked out in the first round by New England. I do foresee a New England-Seattle Super Bowl, which would be a rematch, guys. Remember a few years ago where Seattle should have won if they handed the ball off to Marshawn Lynch. They didn't. Intercepted at the goal line. The Patriots in America win the Super Bowl. I think Seattle gets their revenge in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, they've probably got the best defence left now, and that could be very telling when all the teams are quite closely matched. Now, I'm disappointed with this next story, Todd, because I assumed, I don't watch much ice hockey, but I assumed it was all sort of 75 to 85% fighting, and then a little bit of skating about breaks out in between.
We talk about this a lot on the show about fights in the NHL. It's part of it, isn't it? It's a really weird sort of thing that's...
Well, it's a sport in which they're wearing the most protective clothing, so I suppose it's not surprising. But an old tradition brought back up to date: goalkeepers having a go at each other. Todd.
Yeah. So here's the thing about fighting in the NHL: the league wants to get rid of it, right? The league thinks it's barbaric. They want to focus on the skill, the players on the ice. The fans love it. The players love it. So, listen, there's a lot less fighting in the NHL than there was in past years. But this week, when San Jose faced Florida, it was pretty simply this. There was a scrum, what's called a scrum, when the players after the whistle kind of push and shove each other down at the San Jose end of the rink. So the goalie got involved in it, pushing one of the Florida players. So the Florida goalie's all the way 200 feet away at the other end of the rink. So you can't have one more guy engaged, right? Like you can't have an extra player. So he skates the full length of the ice. They start a fight. First one, I think, in 6 years. And everyone, I'm talking about everyone, loved it. Again, except the league, who didn't.
Footage is amazing, isn't it?
It's a great fight, isn't it? And Andy, because they're wearing so much padding, the goalkeepers, it looks like it's a knockout fight between foam giants, doesn't it?
No one's landing a real blow, are they?
They can't get close enough because of all the padding, absolutely. I've got to keep moving here, Todd, because you've got some great stories. This is about an American footballer. Las Vegas Raiders target Fernando Mendoza is single and has no girlfriend because he has made it his priority. This really does move into the next story as well. To focus on football and not on girls. Here's the quotes. I don't have time for a girlfriend. If I have one, I'd give her my all from 6 to 9 p.m. Hanging out, getting dinner, instead of grabbing quick food and watching extra film to reach the NFL, he says. Now, I've heard about American footballers, for instance, talk about getting a finger amputated when it was keeping them out, with injury and things. This boy that's a lot of commitment, isn't it? To say you won't even have a family life.
And you can't argue with the success of it, right? He's quarterback for Indiana. They win the national championship. He's declared for the draft today, guys. So he's going to be in the draft. And as you mentioned, Danny, he's probably the number one pick in the draft. Las Vegas, the Raiders and Tom Brady have that number one pick. They're probably going to go for a quarterback. So you would say all the sacrifice to focus on football has worked out for him, right? And he's, listen, as the number one pick in the draft, the quarterback...
Yes and no, Todd. Yes and no. Yes, he's getting a career, but no, he's got to play for the Raiders, so it hasn't worked out for him, really, has it?
You know what, though? Listen, he's not going to have any problem finding a girlfriend in Vegas, I can tell you that, especially as the number one pick in the draft, especially as the contract that goes along with being the number one pick in the draft. Listen, the rest is up to him and what happens. And Danny, as you know, too, it looks bad now for the Raiders, but boy, can you turn things around in the NFL very quickly.
Which takes us to the next story and the return of the New England Patriots, who post-Tom Brady had become an absolute basket case.
Yeah.
And Mike Vrabel, their legendary old player, has come back and turned it right around. They could easily win the Super Bowl this year. But some old comments that he made about what he would do to win said Super Bowl ring have resurfaced from an interview that he did 7 years ago. It means that he is now just a couple of games away from losing, the family jewels. He said he would cut off his private parts to win one of these games. Now, the Patriots play the Broncos with their backup quarterback, the Broncos, so he's getting closer and closer to a quite extraordinary sacrifice, Todd.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this sacrifice. It's one thing to go without a girlfriend. It's another to go without, as you mentioned, the family jewels. Obviously, it was said in jest. But, in the reality, he's probably looking at it thinking, at my age, I've had all the kids I'm going to have. Do I need it anymore? And as you talk about with guys, especially for him as a coach, trying to win it as a coach, obviously has incredible meaning for him to do it in New England where he was a star player. Thankfully, he's not going to have to give that up to possibly win the Super Bowl. But, man, it leads to fun conversation around it.
Yeah, I heard Danny's doing the same thing if Spurs beat Burnley tomorrow.
Well, already I feel safe enough, Andy. Todd, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much, Todd Macklin, who brings us all the best from American sport. Still got a lot to get through here, including clips of the week coming up very, very soon. We're listening to Kelly and Jacobs.
We're told Spurs are working on a deal to sign Liverpool's Andy Robertson. Arne Slot wasn't asked about that today, but he is more confident about Milos Kerkez following his Champions League performance.
Milos is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, in my opinion. He plays better and better and better. So it was a moment to give him that game during the week as well, and he did really well, in my opinion, in Marseille.
Meanwhile, Mo Salah's expected to play at Bournemouth tomorrow. Newcastle hope Bruno Guimaraes will be fit to face Villa on Sunday. Eddie Howe was cagey on the extent of his ankle injury. We understand West Ham have rejected a formal bid for Lucas Paquetá from Flamengo in Brazil. West Ham versus Sunderland is live on talkSPORT tomorrow lunchtime. A Leeds bid for Jorgen Strand-Larsen has been rejected by Wolves. All the latest, of course, is on talksport.com. Unai Emery's brushed off his push on Yuri Tillemans, saying, "He's my son." Former Villa keeper Mark Bosnich has played down their touchline spat.
Sometimes when you're close to people, you tend to let your emotions go a little bit further than you normally would because you know them so well. But long term, the time you're going to worry as a player, and Razor will tell you, is when the manager ignores you completely. You can tell how much he cared about the player.
Villa are through to the Europa League knockouts with a game to spare. Meanwhile, England have named their Six Nations squad, and despite a horror run of injuries, fullback George Furbank is in. Uncapped Exeter back rower Greg Fisselau and young props Manny Yogan and Billy Seller are also in. Meanwhile, Saracens director Mark McCall will leave the club at the end of the season after 15 years. And Cam Norrie is out of the Australian Open tennis, ending British involvement in the singles.
Of the week on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Proudly behind the trades that work so hard for the nation. Next stop, Toolstation.
talkSPORT clips of the week.
So,
highlight, of course.
Yes.
Joe, highlight of the week, of course, is clips of the week here on Hawksbee Jacobs, the highlight of talkSPORT's entire week. And when Paul's away for complicated contractual reasons, we have to do a special one. So this week, Andy, I think it was your idea to turn the spotlight on the lads on the sports bar.
That's right. We never, if I'm off or Paul's off, we never do the clips of the week. We only do it when we're both here. That's the way it works. Anyway, but we are doing a sports bar special, and to kick it off, let's head straight to the phone lines as this caller mentions our well-known breakfast presenter. Yeah, Andy Brazil, that's right, yeah. Brilliant.
The actual Brazil wasn't so well yesterday. We hope he's getting much better, obviously. Now, this is Jason and Jamie, Cundy and O'Hara, making their first appearance as Jamie shows he's across all of the talkSPORT output.
Do you listen to Fisherman Blues? Fishy Ant. You listen to Fisherman's Blues?
What is that?
It's a show on talkSPORT.
Who does it?
Nigel Botherway.
It was lovely,
Keith
Fisherman's
Arthur.
Blues, wasn't it? Sunday morning, it was just lovely, wasn't it?
Oh, I miss it, I do.
Yeah.
Now, let's head to the weekender now as Carlton Cole gets in a muddle.
What you would want is a bit of continuity. I always get my words mixed. Continuity. Is that a word?
Try again.
Continuity. There you go.
No, but never mind. Good effort.
Here's Andy Goldstein now with an interesting question.
Are you surprised, just quickly, are you surprised players like Mahrez drink water?
It's good, though, isn't it?
Very good.
Now, we knew Sam Matterface liked the sports bar, but is this a bit much?
The sports bar will be open for business on national radio straight after this game. 03717 722 3344.
Oh, he's very excited about that phone number.
It wouldn't be a sports bar, of course. It wouldn't be a sports bar special, rather, without a guest appearance from the superb Dean Saunders.
A man who's been looking for Loch Ness, or Nessie.
Well, how long has he been looking for it?
25 years.
What? Where's he been looking?
Well, hopefully Loch Ness. Where else would he be looking for him?
He's not the Loch Lomond monster, is it?
And here's another one of our cricket experts, Jamie O'Hara, with an update from the cricket.
Yeah, we can't get hold of. I don't know what's happened to John. I think a toddler's nicked his phone or something. That doesn't sound like John, but we can tell you that it is raining, so the shutters are out.
Yeah, the shutters, not the covers.
No. And of course, lots of people ring up the sports bar, including a Dalek.
Let's go to Adam. He's a Man United fan, right, Adam?
Oh, dear.
It's great, isn't it? That's a very good example of it. And here's Jamie again, showing off his linguistic knowledge.
That situation, watching it was an incredible moment. You know, I couldn't believe it. And then, I saw Messi come out and he was having a chat, and I can't speak South American.
Who can?
No. Really complicated. And here's Carlton Cole with a unique analogy.
They want to finish the season strong at least. They're licking their wounds at the moment, so let's see what they bring to the table, what they offer. I reckon they'll throw the kitchen table at them.
What about the sink? Let's bring in Dino now for one of his special expressions.
They'd rather not train and just keep playing games, and you lose your. What's that saying? There's a saying: you never lose your eye for a goal, but you lose the eye of the tiger.
No one's ever said that.
No, that is far too many ocular expressions for one thing to work.
Never mind.
Right then, here is Jamie O'Hara with his usual response to Jeff Peters rambling on.
It might just be one result that can turn things around for Brendan Rodgers. 6 defeats in a row. What's your sort of understanding and feeling amongst talking to other Leicester fans?
Oh dear. Never mind. Staying with the chunk, here he is with an unusual way to get to Brighton.
Palace, they can be a tricky customer.
Yeah.
Then they've got Brighton. What is it? The M? What's this named after a road? Isn't it? The Derby.
The M40.
No, it's not the M40. It's M23. But never mind.
Yeah. And here's his right-hand man, Jason Cundy, with a caller discovering that the S word isn't so bad after all.
You've seen tonight that moving forward, it gives you a glimmer of hope. You mentioned the S word. You said the S word, Max.
Yeah, I apologise for that.
No,
not a sack.
Not a sack.
Yeah, well, perhaps he did swear. I don't know. I can't get at the bottom of that one, but never mind. Back to the phone lines now, and it's time for a rising endorsement from David Harrogate.
Dave from Harrogate, good morning.
I fell asleep.
Tremendous.
Carlton Cole again now with his back page review.
So we've got in the Mirror Sport at the back pages of the Mirror. Pogba says goodbye. What is this about?
Well, perhaps he's leaving somewhere. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
Farewell, says Paul Pogba. Yeah.
Right. This is the final clip that will lead into something. It's Jason Cundy talking goalkeepers.
For me, I think he's the best English goalkeeper. And that's a big statement. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, that did remind us of something.
Yeah.
And this house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. And I know.
Well, that is the very first time I have heard the excellent broadcasters on the sports bar compared to the genius of Bill Withers, and I use that word advisedly. All right, listen, that was Clips of the Week, and there's special Clips of the Week, and thanks to Toolstation.
Clips of the Week on talkSPORT with Toolstation. Proudly behind the trades that work so hard for the nation. Next stop, Toolstation.
trip to South Africa with the Barmy Army on talkSPORT.
Yeah, listen up, this is pretty amazing. Our next competition has arrived. England return to South Africa with the cricket next winter. And as always, the Barmy Army will be out there in full force. And this time, you could be too. We're giving away a week for two at the 2027 New Year's Test in Cape Town. Every day of the match in one of the world's greatest cricketing theatres, with flights, hotel and spending money all covered. It's your chance to secure two spots with the official Barmy Army, so you'll be right in the mix with the rest of the fans. Listen up and Andy will tell you how to enter now.
Yes, for your chance to watch England lose, text WIN to 83338. Text costs £2.50 plus your standard network rate, or call 0343 418 7260. Lines close 6th of February 2026, 4 p.m. That's when you'll need to answer your phone if it rings. 18 plus, UK residents only. This is a network promotion. Full T's and C's at talksport.com. For your chance to win, text WIN to 83338 right now. Beautiful.
You're right, Andy. How many days do they book that hotel for, I wonder?
Oh, please.
It's a great prize. It's a brilliant prize.
If you've been to Cape Town, it's a very nice place.
Beautiful. And the cricket ground is just extraordinary. So, as we head towards another weekend of football, it means that the press conferences with the managers have been in full swing, not least, Andy, at your club.
Yeah, that's right. And there's been a lot of rumours in the last 24 hours. Well, I think it's all I think what happens is somebody makes up one story and then everybody else reacts to it. And that's what I think's gone on here with Cole Palmer. But Liam Rosenior was asked about the future of Cole Palmer.
I've had numerous conversations with Cole, and he seems very, very happy to be here. He is very, very happy to be here. He's a huge part of our plans in the long term. He's an outstanding player. Every player goes through difficult moments in their careers in terms of injury. I don't think it's any reflection on his quality. He's an outstanding footballer. But my job and the club's job is to get him in a place where he can consistently perform at the level that he wants to. And there was frustration in the Brentford game, not because he wasn't happy here, just because he couldn't perform. He was in pain. He couldn't perform to the level he wanted to do for the club. He's a great kid. And he's an outstanding player, but we have to make sure that we look after him in the right way. That's why I haven't involved him in the last game.
Yeah, I watched him closely during that game. I was at the match, and he's frustrated. He is. Because he's rusty and he's not. He's hardly played, so he's hardly even had a pre-season. So it's not surprising, but hopefully, if he can stay fit, he'll pick up his form. Of course. Big game on Sunday. Manchester United travelling to the Emirates. And interim boss Michael Carrick, off to a flyer, was asked if they can follow in Arsenal's footsteps to get the club back to the top of the table.
I think we've got our ideas, in what needs to be done and how we need to get there. I think credit to Arsenal, they're in a really strong place at the moment, and they've built the squad and the group, and Mikel takes a lot of credit for that. He's done a fantastic job, and I think we've got our own ideas as well of what we need to do and what it's going to take to get there, and that's what we'll keep working towards.
Yeah, as long as it's not buying Cole Palmer, I don't mind.
Can't lose Michael, can he? Either he does a brilliant job there and keeps the gig, or he does an okay job and repairs whatever damage to his reputation. He can't do. I mean, Amorim didn't. They were fifth or sixth, whatever, when he left. But the football was so bad that he can't do a worse job. So he's on a real winner there, Michael, I think.
Yeah, I thought the way they played last week was refreshing. It was more like a Manchester United team, and you know they've got good players. You can see. I mean, they've got some real.
And they also
weapons.
got stuck in as well.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So I expect it'll be quite a close game. It should be a good game, actually. I'm hoping for an early goal, because a lot of these games, the longer it goes 0-0, they just become so sterile. Anyway, Manchester City have got a few problems at the moment. Pep Guardiola, though, says that Rodri needs time to rest and recover, and he believes he knows why City are struggling right now.
So give it time. It's 11 months. You need time to recover. I know the reason why we are struggling now. I know 100% what happened with the team. I know it. So try to give a little bit more time and give it. Will it be enough? I don't know. I know it's a disaster having 13 points in the Champions League, I know that. But they have 8 points with 13 points, 8 teams with 13 points. One of them, one of the best teams in the world. But for them it's fine, but for us it's a disaster. I know our standards are so high, guys. And I know the reason why we are a little bit not consistent or not taking the results that we are having.
Yeah, but can you do anything about it? I think a lot of it's to do with injuries, don't you? A lot of in key areas, especially defensively.
The key injuries added to the fact that, for whatever reason, they're just not as defending as well as a team as they used to. And we all know, even with Erling Haaland, if you're conceding goals, the results tend to go down the drain with it. But he's not very worried. I always check to see if he's been scratching his baldy old dome, and he hasn't been, as far as I can see.
Hopefully it'll all be right. Now, Thomas Frank has been speaking to talkSPORT and still remains confident that Spurs can become consistent in all competitions.
I think the Premier League is, they have no doubt the best league in the world. I think the competitiveness and the evenness in the Premier League is insane. Every game is so difficult, and I think there's a lot of Premier League teams that would be, if you play whole Premier League playing in Champions League, they'll do very well. No doubt about that. Champions League is difficult, and especially when you play away from home, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, I think he's got a point there about, the English clubs really in general are doing pretty well.
Oh, look, UEFA set
they must
up
hate
this.
That.
Well, they set up this kind of mock Super League to try and narrow the gap between the Premier League teams and everybody else because you're getting more television money. Now they've got the genuine prospect of 6 English teams in the last 16. And so they're just gathering up more and more and more money to widen that gap. I'm not enjoying the new format. Second year round, now that the big clubs have worked out how to play it, too many games. They're not dead rubbers, but Arsenal, Inter Milan should be a special game with real jeopardy in it of somebody going out of the tournament. And it wasn't that, for instance.
No, I think that is the key problem with it, really. And but it's too late now. They've done it, and we know why they did it, and it's not going to go back. Liverpool travel to Bournemouth tomorrow afternoon. We talked a bit about this game earlier in the Bet Builder, and boss Arne Slot has given his opinion on their recent improved performances.
We've played, in my opinion, many good games this season, which doesn't always come to the light. Is that the way to say it? If you've lost too many games during a season as well, because people are mainly looking at the league table, and then not a lot that we do is positive. But we've played quite a lot of good games. We have had quite a lot of good individual performances. We've spoken about Florin. Everybody spoke a lot about him, that he lacked goals and assists in the beginning of the season, but he was so close to it every single time. And even now, when he's scoring and having assists, he could almost double it with the chances he's having or the chances he gives to his teammates. So I can only see so many positives from this team in terms of the progress we made.
Yeah, Wirtz is definitely improving. I think Xavi Simons is definitely improving as well. I do think all these players who come into the league, it takes time. Some of them will hit the ground running, but it's pretty rare.
Andy, you can almost do a scale. The ones who rely on physicality adapt very quickly. The ones who are relying on technique, they've got to be physical as well, but rely on technique, take 6 months to get used to the absolute, monstrous pace at which they're being asked to do things that we're doing slightly more slowly in Germany or France or wherever. Sorry, Arne, that you're involved in a sport where the brilliant performance you're seeing are not matched by the number of points you're getting. That's called being in a competition, my friend. Unbelievable.
I know, but big clubs have a sort of entitlement, and they don't like it the way the league is now. And I know what they mean. But that's the way it is. Yeah, but that's the way it is, and most people prefer it. Crystal Palace, though, they've got a few problems. They've got Chelsea on Sunday, and I was impressed with their players last week. They put in an effort in Sunderland in most difficult circumstances, and Glasner's been speaking to our very own Moose.
This is a romantic world, In a romantic world, we would have all these players here, and we would play maybe for the Champions League spots in England. But players, have a contract situation maybe where they can decide to leave, and if they say, hey, I want to go to a club where I can win the Champions League, we can't provide to the players that we are a team that can win the Champions League. I hope everybody agrees.
I get that, and I don't want to be argumentative, but having said that, if everybody took that view, well, we can't win the Champions League, we can't win the Premier League, Leicester wouldn't have won it, Denmark wouldn't have won the
Where they are now? Where's Leicester now?
It doesn't matter where they are now, but they won the Premier League once.
Do you want to win it and then get relegated? Ask the fans.
That's not. Yeah, okay. Denmark wouldn't have won the Euros coming off the beach to win the Euros in '92.
No, Crystal Palace wouldn't have won the FA Cup.
Good old Moose. He wasn't going to let you get away with it.
No.
I mean, you know what he means, but it's slightly hypocritical because he's just announced he's leaving. Where do you think he's going? He's not going to Macclesfield, is he? He's going to try and get a better job than he's got now.
What does he say to Matete when he comes banging the door saying, I've got to go by the end of the transfer window? He's got no leg to stand on there. And the Moose was right to pull him up about, if you don't dream, what have the fans got left, you know?
He's done a great job there, and they've had a wonderful season last year.
And I'll put you more on this. When he says, you'd win the league and get relegated, would you? I'd settle for that tomorrow. Because, Spurs will be back sometime in the future. And the season they had in the mid-'70s in second division was my favourite season ever following the team. Andy, it's been a joy.
Thanks, Danny.
It's been an absolute joy. Thank you for thinking of me when you got to the bottom of the barrel to replace Paul. Thank you all for listening to us for the last 3 hours. I'll be back on Sunday night at 9 with Trans-Europe Express with Kevin Hatchard. Till then, keep well. Up next, it's Drive with Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent. God bless you all.